Coldplay on, and I'm like, fuck you and your Coldplay.
You know what? And I think it was Rogan recently was basically saying that like one day at the comedy store, he had come out of the green room baked, getting ready to go on stage, and like Paul McCartney's there. Like ran into him in a small hallway, and he's like, he's like, I didn't know what to do, so I just looked at him and I was like, no fucking way, man. Like walked off. And I just meant that like, no way am I holding a conversation with one of the Beatles who came to see me do funny jokes on stage.
Right. Yeah.
Like life is very odd.
And that's got to be a fucking trip. Like when someone larger than you comes to see you do the one thing that you were supposed to do.
Very odd.
Yeah. It's very strange. Like anytime I interact with anyone, Matt, yourself included, Dylan of the WWF, and he's like talking about shit, and it's like, I'm a fucking guy, and why do you care about what I say? Like, that's weird to me. I call that out kicking your coverage.
Most people, and I've met, both ends, like of a way higher fame level than, let's say, whatever pretend fame I have. Or notoriety, or whatever you call it.
No, I hear you.
It's not fame. But you definitely, like, whether it's Aubrey or a handful of people that are very, very well known, I've been lucky enough to be friends with. And they're all just regular folks. Like, none of them are...
Right.
It's fucking space cadets. or act weird or do anything. Like, they've all been just regular dudes.
But do you think that is kind of been diminished by the fact that the internet is now, it makes it so readily available to just be in contact with you?
I do think that. I think that transparency's become a totally different thing with the fact that you can send a text to The Rock. Like he does have to be a little bit more human,
right?
And available to people than Jack Nicholson did at the prime of his career,
right?
So,
yeah, it's also. You can't make offhanded jokes. You can't just relax and let your guard down.
Think about
the online stuff.
Right, and think about like what a weird time, that came and went would have been like the Playboy Mansion in the era of that.
Yep.
That this was this kind of private locale for A-listers in the Hollywood Hills to have these parties where they could interact with each other like humans in a cool environment, and there weren't paparazzi there.
Right.
Or the only people there were the magazine, and like this was a place that they could just be and not have to stress about it. And now there's not really that. I don't know if that's true. Like, I don't know if those, like, if it is being hounded to that level. I think a lot of the paparazzi that we see chasing that certain celebrity group. I mean, these people know where they're going to be because they got called.
Right.
Right.
Like they were notified that, hey, Kylie Jenner's coming in on this flight. Like the person who notifies them is from the family.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but then you might be at a place where a Kylie Jenner is at, and you're the one who wants to be left the fuck alone.
Yeah.
And
right.
You've got to deal with the fact that somebody else is like, oh, my publicist is going to tell your person to come see us at this thing because I'm hanging out with Clooney tonight, and I want everybody to see me with Clooney.
Very strange
like,
world.
What the fuck is going on? Like, I thought we were just kicking it.
Yeah, very, very strange world for sure. So here we're going to talk about the greatest horror movie ever made.
I mean, you picked it.
We already talked about Xanadu.
No, my God.
Damn it.
Abba. Schindler's List.
Yeah.
It's not as funny as I expected. So I thought it was a weird Christmas tale with this list, and who's good?
So I was trying to think of a good joke to be like, well, I watched the first one, 28 Days, with Sandra Bullock.
You're right.
Oh, God.
But yes. I feel like that joke is probably pretty overplayed at this point, so I just kind of let it go.
I mean, the movie's been out a long time. I think you could really start bringing that back into the...
So
I honestly just heard somebody say that joke in the last week, and I don't think it was Matt. I think it was that popped up somewhere.
Someone else equally unfunny.
Aww, damn it.
You know it's a bad joke.
Well, that's why
it's not a good joke. Yeah, no.
Now, 28 weeks later, he's a steamy pile.
So and I had a pubic hair in my throat. So I forgot. I haven't seen 28 Weeks Later in a very, very long time. But I don't remember hating it, but I forgot how good 28 Days Later is, and it is creepy. It's creepy how relevant 28 Days Later is right now.
Right?
And now...
So are we watching this fucker, or are we just talking about it?
We can watch it, whatever you want to do. I was going to ask you, but I knew you probably have been busy. I can fucking turn it on. Yeah. I was going to ask you if you wanted to cast and Fury this bad mamma jamma.
Yeah, I've got it playing.
Yeah, I'll turn it on. I'm not scared. But
yeah, I mean, I basically know what's going on.
So you're the only one of the three of us that live in like a large city.
Oh, well, and St. Louis doesn't really count.
It's larger than where I live in a town of 900.
Like 300,000 people.
Even if I go to Appleton, it's 75,000. No, it's still, but you're 75,000 compared to 300. Yeah. So how is life different for you? I know you're still going to the gym and shit, and you work from home. So
well, I have a gym,
right? Which someday I plan
and
to
I work from home.
I plan to grunt loudly at that gym.
Perfect. I think that's welcome.
Just, you don't have a lunk alarm there.
Oh, good, gross. But yeah, it's okay. Like, it's definitely, there's less traffic. People are not. A lot of stuff's closed, but most of the restaurants in the area we're in are still doing takeout.
Yeah.
Parks and stuff like that are still getting used. Now they've closed. It's weird because they closed like campgrounds, which I don't understand.
They started doing that here too.
Which doesn't make any sense to me. I'll just go somewhere that I don't need a campsite.
Right. Where did you start the movie?
Yeah.
How far in are you? Ballpark.
2 minutes.
2 minutes. Okay. I'm gonna just skip ahead to.
There's a splayed open monkey on a table.
Okay. I'm just going to 210. All right.
Yeah. It's different, but my lifestyle's the weirdest thing about my life right now is that I'm not traveling.
How are you handling that?
I don't care for it.
And that's one thing I've always wondered, and as your friend, been mildly concerned about, because I know how much you enjoy not being at home.
Yeah.
And it's fucking weird. Like, I haven't gone south of Oshkosh since March 17th. And I normally go to Milwaukee, Madison once a week.
Right. For me, it's not necessarily the, like, I'm not traveling that bums me. It's far more the, I don't like routine.
Which is
so I'm in routine completely.
Did you? I just got an email from Fat and Weird Cookie. That's odd.
Nice.
Yeah.
Me too.
Were either of your parents like very strictly routine when you were a child?
No.
Oh, see, my dad is like by the book. Like, I get up at this time, I do this, then I do this.
My dad was like that, but it was never one of those things that was really like harshed upon.
Yeah, he never really ragged on me for it. I always thought it was very strange, and I'm like, I don't want to become like that. I don't want to be so strict in a routine that it starts to like dictate how I handle my life. And I've totally turned into somewhat of that.
Yeah. I mean, there's benefit to it.
There really is, and I hate admitting that.
I don't like sleeping in, so I mean, I'm normally awake anyway by. I think I was up this morning like at 5:30. So usually by the time I wake up, like if I have that first kind of wake up and roll over and see that it's 5,
yeah,
I'm getting up.
What time are you go to bed? 9ish?
At best.
Yeah.
Like at the latest between 9 and 10.
And I've always tried to do that. I mean, on occasion, like when we play bar shows, I'm up till 4.
Yeah, see,
and that
I lived that
sucks.
life too. Like I wasn't a morning person when I was still bouncing at the strip club, and I was.
But the problem is I'm a morning person. In addition to playing, getting home at 4 in the morning. So when I get home at 4 in the morning, I'm up at 7. So last night we did all that shit, and I stayed up because I fucking was awake till 11, whatever. So I went to bed at like 12:30, and I was up at 7. And I'm like, I can't sleep in, and it sucks. But
no, I can't sleep in at all. I'm definitely with you that like I know at some point if I'm gonna have a couple late nights, that I fully need to be prepared for. Like I need an actual good, like I need to go to bed early another night to make up for it because I'm never going to sleep in.
Yeah.
I always have to steal sleep on the front end.
Which I've always heard that you can't catch up on the sleep you've lost, but I call bullshit. I think it's
what our
horseshit
special
too.
forces dudes do.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
they'll go 2 or 3 days without sleeping in a really high stress environment, and then they crash for 30 hours.
Yeah,
See, I
and that's
can't
me
do
every
that.
weekend. Is I hit the weekend and I go from getting to bed at around 10 o'clock to getting into bed at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. And
What are you doing? Why are we awake?
I hate my life. It's just
Jesus.
I don't know. My body would naturally rather be awake at night, but I know that I have to work and function in the morning. So I get up at 5 o'clock every morning, get ready, go be at work at 8 o'clock, get through my day, come home, go to bed at 10. Friday hits, my brain is like, "Fuck you! I'm not going to bed. I don't have to." And so
Still a school night.
yeah, exactly. It's 5 a.m. and I'm like, maybe I should go crawl into bed now. And I do, and then Erin wakes up at 8, which is her normal time of just like deciding to do something with the day. And so I get up with her, and if I'm lucky, I'll take a nap somewhere with the cat in the day. But lately, I haven't even been doing that, so it's just kind of I'm fucked. But then Sunday night, I know 10 o'clock, I got to be in bed again.
So, how are you handling? Do you work mostly from home, or do you actually go to a place?
I go to a place normally. I have been working from home. We've been switching up because there's enough of us in our building to have some techs work in the building and some techs work at home. And
Okay.
last week is the first week that I actually got to work home the whole week, and I'm going to be working from home again this week.
Ah, nice.
I may push because I was in there for 3 weeks because they suddenly got a new guy for me to train and said, "Oh, yeah, you're going to train this guy for a week." And so I'm like, all right, well, I've just been here for a week. I'll train the guy, and then I'll go take a couple weeks off. And they're like, "Oh, no, you're going to train him for 2 weeks." So it's like,
Yeah.
fine. Everyone else gets to work from home. I would like to work from home. And then I worked from home and had an anxiety attack on Wednesday or Tuesday and had to take Wednesday off because my brain freaked out.
Yeah, it's weird, and like I definitely feel for like I've done the work from home thing for 10 years, so like I'm used to
Yeah.
maintaining my own schedule and kind of staying productive when me on it. There's never going to be a person in my life that calls to be like, "Hey, did you get this done?" It'll never happen. It's only
Right.
me.
Right.
And so like I've just done it long enough now that I don't think much of it, and I'm not productive in work ways in the evening, and that just got cut into me with the 10 years of doing outside sales and like petrochemical. Because the time I start making phone calls was typically around 6, because like customers meetings were, if I was going to have a meeting that day, they're about 10 or 11 for lunch, and then no one wants to talk to me after 2 p.m.
Right. Unless business dinners, anything like that ever happen?
Very, very rarely. Sometimes on the road, like if I went
Yeah.
to places, I'd have a business dinner, but those were typically like, we're going to meet at 5.
Yeah.
There were occasionally some late nights that you stay up entertaining customers, especially if we went to like a camp and hunted or something like that. But for
you
the
do
most part,
events. And your events, I would
Yeah.
imagine, are not normal hours.
no, but it's like 1 day or 2 days. Like,
Yeah.
you gut it out. And even events, like if I'm on my feet all day, like at a trade show doing that type of thing, like we're usually out of there by 6, and then it's people at the Arnold and shit like that. You get a ton of invites, and it's like, hey, we're going to be here and meet up for dinner with a big group of people, or we're going out. Like, I don't fucking go and do anything. I'm trashed. But by the time I'm off the floor and I've shook a bunch of hands and I've been on for 10 hours,
Yeah.
that like, man, I just want a quiet room.
So is that the
that's-
reason that you had kind of cut back the amount of time you were supposed to be readily available at the Arnold this year before everything
It's
happened?
what we put on the list, but like I was going to be at the booth the whole time.
Oh, okay.
You
Okay.
just advertise it in a certain way so that people know when to show up.
Yeah.
So we were, experimenting with at least giving people a win if they wanted to come meet whoever
Yeah.
when they could.
I was bummed. I believe you had Bubbles on the list, right?
Yeah, Bubbles there.
I was fucking super bummed. I would have liked
Oh,
to have
Bubbles
met
the
him,
best.
but I'm still hoping that All That Remains comes to town in July. Fingers fucking crossed, and I can meet him there, but we'll see.
All right, so down 28 days later. One of the things that's very important about this movie for me is, so he's woke up out of this coma that he got in from a bicycle accident.
Yeah.
So from jump, he is just reacting.
We missed the gratuitous dick scene too.
There's a lot of his hog in it.
Yeah,
It's a little blurry. It's not the most high def camera.
I was still really shocked that a 2003 movie had so much hog in it
Well, he's
from the
British.
jump.
I assume
Yeah,
that
it's-
it's blurry naturally.
It's true. They have blurry dicks with that turtleneck sweater they're wearing.
It's the hog fog.
Yeah, that unclipped hog he's walking around with.
But imagine like waking up and just no one's around and you have no fucking clue
No.
what's going on.
See, that's the thing, right? And like that's what's great about this is
Right.
that's what we're watching. Is he has just woke up and has no fucking concept of what has happened here.
Right.
And so not only that, back to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, right? These kids died because of their doing.
Right.
Right.
They broke into a house.
Yep. Yep.
That's breaking and entering.
Yeah. That's a
Great
bad time.
story about protecting property rights in Texas. And like, so I'm not rooting for any of those kids to win. I want Leatherface to win. Whereas in this film, he hasn't caused any of the problems that he's dealing with. I don't do well with a horror film if the protagonist is the one that I see causing their own problems.
Well, it calls back to, is the protagonist the victims or the killer?
Depends on the film.
Right, exactly. A lot of times there's a final girl to give you somebody to root for, but
Yeah.
when you get to franchises, you're almost always rooting for the Jason, the Freddy, the
Sure.
Chucky, or whatever.
Yeah, because everybody else is interchangeable.
Yeah.
But zombie movies, you don't really root for the zombie.
The Horde.
Yeah, because
So we're
it's a collective.
timeline-wise, 28 Days Later versus Dawn of the Dead remake.
Which I think came right after this.
Okay. We had a really good run of zombie movies.
Yeah, because we go
Shit,
through this
yeah.
and we get Shaun of the Dead in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
But what I was surprised at was I haven't watched this since about the time that it came out on DVD. I was surprised how much The Walking Dead's opening ripped off from this.
Oh,
Shocker.
yeah, it's exactly the same with
Waking
the
up in
hospital bed.
Yeah, exactly. And the wandering around and trying to figure stuff out. Except Rick meets a dude and this kid, and then
Yep.
takes off.
But I don't have a problem with it being similar because like I'm okay with that origin story into the problem.
Right.
Now, another odd thing about zombie movies, there's not a lot of zombie movies that also seem to exist in a universe that zombie movies exist in.
Right.
It's as if this is a complete foreign fucking concept that the dead have come back to life and we have no idea how to kill them.
Right.
But the way to kill them is almost always the
It's
same
always the same.
thing.
Yeah, they're zombies.
Right.
And not only that, they rarely ever call them zombies.
Right.
No.
They're walkers or they're fucking... Ugh. And this one, of the zombie genre, which isn't... This is more of a infection movie.
Yes.
And they don't call them zombies, if I remember correctly. They call them the infected.
Yeah, well, because they are, right? They're infected
Right.
with rage.
Right.
Which it's basically the same thing, except they die.
Mm-hmm.
Zombies don't have an expiration date.
But
So
they do seem kind of long-lived. Because they're talking about how long it takes to starve one to death.
Well, that's 28 days. Yeah, right. So
Yep.
that's that concept, which is about what it would take. Now, I think if we started really factoring in dehydration and stuff like that, like I think the lack of water would probably get to you first, like probably in less than a week. But let's theoretically say it didn't.
yeah.
Also, it's kind of cold in the UK, so you may be okay.
It can be. So Beat is asking, he's curious if, well, I shouldn't say he's curious. He said 28 Days Later introduced Fast Zombies. Don't recall seeing them before this. I don't remember Fast Zombies before this because I think we just, as you just said, the Dawn of the Dead remake
It's this
came
and
out
Dawn of the
after.
Dead, right?
Yeah. And
But,
that was the other time I remember Fast Zombies.
Right.
There is one before that.
With Fast Zombies.
Yeah, with Fast Zombies. Certainly they're more animated in Return of the Living Dead movies because they're more comedic in that.
Yeah.
But I do
Right.
think there was something where the first Fast Zombies came out quite a while and hadn't been used in a long time. I'm trying to look it up right now.
Man, that just every scene that he's walking around and deals with, like this church that, of course,
Oh
Of
fuck.
course, that's what it would be. Like everyone in this type of pandemic would have poured into a place like that, which
Yep.
is, again, man.
I mean, they're saying Night of the Living Dead. First, Fast Zombies were actually in that movie by Romero.
Yeah, but not hordes. Like
Yeah,
every zombie was,
and not a World War Z type of zombie.
No.
which is dog shit as well.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan.
No, me neither.
Man, the book was so good.
I agree.
You know what's better than the book? The audiobook.
Oh.
Ooh.
I was
Dude,
like,
the audiobook is incredible.
is it really?
It's well worth just giving a listen, especially like driving around or whatever, because
Oh, because I do so much of that right now.
All the narration's done with voice acting.
Oh
So
shit.
it's like the guy is sitting down to do those interviews with these people,
Yeah.
and so each character it's a different actor. So like one of the stories that gets told in World War Z is the guy who's the bodyguard and ends up going to this like Malibu big mansion and trying to hold the thing off, but they're throwing like a big kind of celebrity party, and something breaks in, and so the spread happens. And like people are getting torn apart, and so this bodyguard essentially just gets out of the house and like grabs a surfboard and gets out into the water and gets away. Like that guy's whole story is narrated by Henry Rollins.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so like Henry Rollins narrates, Alan Alda does another one. Man, it's such a good listen.
Fuck.
Like that companion piece for the book is really gnarly.
I'll have to find that.
And that's Mel Brooks' son, right?
Yeah, Max. But he also did the Zombie Survival Guide book.
Yeah.
That's a good fucking book.
It was very entertaining.
Yeah.
But they took. I really thought that World War Z would have made a much better series. Like they should have done, 3 seasons or whatever of World War Z the book, and do it as those different chapters, almost like a Black Mirror episode. Everything's kind of self-contained. But instead, they did a big CG jerk-off fest.
With Brad Pitt.
Ugh. I mean, I'm not mad at Brad Pitt, but for fuck's sake.
I'm not mad at Brad Pitt either, but I feel like when you put Brad Pitt in a movie like that, you're ultimately saying, like, this probably isn't going to be very good, so we brought Brad Pitt.
Yeah. And, I mean, it's hard to hate on Brad Pitt. He's very entertaining in film, plus he's great looking.
I completely agree. I don't think he did nothing wrong. He did what he was paid to do.
Infinitely watchable.
Yep.
Yep. I mean, even Once Upon a Time in Mexico, he's great.
Mm-hmm.
Not Once Upon a Time in Mexico, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Johnny Depp.
Yes. Also, very weird with that series, like with the
Desperado and
El Mariachi, Desperado, and then Once Upon a Time in Mexico is a very strange trilogy.
Yeah.
yeah, it kind of takes off into weird directions. Each changeover.
Yeah, very, very much.
The internet seems to tell me that Dead Alive had fast zombies, but I don't remember that. I just remember a lawnmower.
Yeah, but Dead Alive was so campy. Like there was no real story to Dead Alive as much as it was just a gore fest.
Yep.
Again, back to like this movie and why it's the best.
Yeah.
Is like, man, he is just he makes good decisions. Like he doesn't make any obviously shit decisions of like, hey, don't go down there or this and that. And like his transformation through the show too is definitely this like what Nietzsche-esque like kind of stare into the abyss thing, right? That like be wary if you're going to fight monsters unless you plan to become one yourself. And he does.
He does make good decisions, but aren't a lot of his decisions kind of dictated by the people that he meets initially? Like Selena is a big part of why
he stays alive.
Why he stays alive and teaches him the ins and outs of things. And herself is the biggest badass of all.
Oh yeah, she's nuts, right?
She just doesn't hold back. Like, I see that he got bit. He's trying to lie to me, and she just takes the dude out, even though that was her friend and companion through this. Like, no hesitation at all. she's amazing, and I feel like if he had been anything less than that, then we would not be able to root for him in this movie.
Right. Um. Yes and no. I still think Cillian Murphy's portrayal of this character without Selena definitely provides this bit of like almost superhero-ness of like, okay, here's how he gets to survive and ramp up his learning curve.
Mm-hmm.
Is they provided that character, but I mean he's not a dummy.
No,
and seems to be. He's not arguing with them of like nothing you're saying's true. He's just like okay.
Right.
Like he's gotten enough so far in whatever amount of minutes we're talking about. In 20 minutes, he has fully shifted gears to this is the reality that I am currently dealing with. How do I not get dead?
Which
he does have the breaks though of like, hey, I want to check on my parents, even though it's pretty obvious from the whole situation that they're dead, and they tell him they're dead. They gotta be dead.
They're dead.
But they give him the opportunity to go see them anyways to figure that out.
Well, I mean, they also figure they're getting out of a city center. They're going to get into a neighborhood. It's a fort essentially, and maybe there's some supplies.
Right. Yeah, a lot of this is a survival movie, and it's not. A lot of it isn't even about the rage people. Which is
No,
good,
of course.
because you can't have a back and forth with those things. You can just have the I'm in danger. Do we get away or not? I'm in danger. How many of us die? That kind of thing.
Yeah, it's always back to the humans that are left. I mean, and the Walking Dead's the same way. All the zombies are in that idea is the common enemy.
Right.
Right.
And setting out the true nature of people. Like the basest, harshest nature of I will do what I have to do to survive, or I will do what I have to make sure everybody survives, and the factions between those different ideals. And this is, it gets to that, but it starts out with people that you feel a connection to, that you feel a trust with.
Yep.
So I guess during the downtime in the movie, if either of you woke up in this situation, what the fuck would you do? If you woke up in a hospital bed and no one was around, what would you do?
I'd be so bummed. So bummed out. Like I'm definitely going to have a minute of like, I'd probably max pain it there for a second and figure out where the drugs are kept in said hospital. And I'm definitely going to leave with some.
Ooh, yeah.
If there's any left.
That's a good point. But
just as I got them. What would I take?
Everything? I would literally...
Probably mostly pain meds and Valium.
I would take a piece of bread and put all the pain pills on it and then just eat it.
They don't eat well, you know that, right? Like,
no, not at all. But if
it's a way better move to crush them under a rocks glass and then dump them into the glass.
Whatever. I just need to get them into my system.
Yes, with whiskey.
If you can get whiskey.
That's a move Daniel Craig does in Layer Cake.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit.
Which is another great movie.
That is a great movie.
It's a wildly entertaining film.
Oh, yeah.
Plus, it's all the Cockney slang and like English gangsters and talking shit and like.
I've never seen it.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn fine film, Matt.
Dude, Layer Cake's so much fun.
I spent a lot of time watching pornography.
Dude, and Layer Cake. Oh man, there's this awesome scene in a diner, and this like 80s music montage that plays over it is so strong.
It's a damn fine film. I would highly recommend it.
Yeah, I put it up there
Watch
with
any of the
Snatch
Guy
and
Ritchie
Lock,
stuff.
Stock.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Lock, Stock. And if you've enjoyed those, you would really like Layer Cake. And
It's one of those that's weird too because I haven't seen anything else terribly interesting that director's done.
Right. No, it was a very special, one of a kind sort
Wow.
of movie in that genre that just disappeared after that.
Right. But that genre of movies is great fun too.
Yeah. 'Cause it's built around characters. It's a British Goodfellas, except for me, just way more entertaining because it's not just people taking deep dives into the worst parts of their souls. It's like they got a pretty solid plan a lot of the time. It's just the execution always goes to shit.
Oh man, and man, Snatch is so good. Lock, Stock's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just buffoonery and bad criminals.
Yep.
Lock, Stock, man, Snatch is so good. Brad Pitt's character is great, and Statham does a hell of a job. But fuck, Lock, Stock with Bullet Tooth Tony and well, he's more in Snatch, but like that character plus
We got Vinnie Jones in there.
yeah, Vinnie Jones, and then you've got the old guy that runs the like sex shop.
Yeah.
Who I can't remember what his character's name is. But
I get a little confused because I keep going back to Doc in Boondock Saints.
No, he's a bigger dude with
Right.
like a big mustache, and I guess he beat some guy to death in like a very short clip using this big black rubber dick. Apparently, so one of the guys I threw with in the Highland game, Scott, I think from what I understand is the guy who played that character. God damn, what's that character's name, Matt? I need it.
What? I'm sorry. I was sidetracked. What are we looking for?
Snatch.
Snatch.
Not Snatch. Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels characters.
Okay. Lock, Stock, Barrels. Ooh. I have a question for you after we answer this.
Fair.
Who am I looking at?
Old white guy.
Do you have a name?
I don't remember.
Hatchet Harry.
Hatchet Harry.
Hatchet Harry P.H. Moriarty.
Yeah. Okay. Hatchet Harry. So Scott's wife's like cousin's uncle apparently is that guy. And it said they had had crossed paths with him a couple times at family things.
Fucking
Nice
weird.
guy, big fella.
Yeah.
And he said they were doing something at some wedding or some party or rehearsal dinner, and both of them had ended up in the pisser together. And some real drunk guy, some fucking kid, just stumbled away from the urinal or something like, or scoffed about something with them being in the bathroom and like both urinals being taken up. And I guess he was so annoyed by it that like he turns around, and he's standing mid-chest higher than this fucking kid. And like gets kind of over him and looks down like Lyndon B. Johnson's him. And and basically he's like, "You're the most fucking busy," like just switches into that like heavy character. He's like, "You're the busiest man in all of fucking London. You can't wait to take a piss. You fucking stop me again." Something like that, and like just kind of loosely threatens him. And this kid is just, he's just pissing. He's just totally uncomfortable.
My uncle had a friend who would get a certain level of drunk at the bar and then always launch into Bluto's speech from Animal House.
Mm-hmm.
Was it over when they bombed Pearl Harbor? Fuck no. And just like do the whole thing verbatim.
It's a great speech.
It is a great speech.
So, Matt,
It's a down bar more than that.
I watched Fast 6
Did you?
because I decided that I think I need to watch them before we watch them so that I don't miss shit.
Is it with the tank on the bridge?
Yeah. Also, Shaw's not played by Jason Statham in this movie. Shaw.
It's his brother's character.
It's his brother first.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize it was a different Shaw.
Comes in at the end
Yeah,
of,
Statham's a
7.
brother.
Okay. I just remember hearing the name Shaw and being like, "That's not fucking
No, it's his
Statham."
brother, and his brother was like brainwashed or something.
Whatever. I didn't really watch it for any sort of substance. I saw shit blow up and realized, yeah, like I know what's going on now.
How was that tank scene?
Oh, it's so goddamn good.
Dude, they just fuck off to physics.
Just who gives a shit?
Just so fuck off to physics. The tank flips, launches Vin Diesel into the air. He catches Michelle Rodriguez over a crevasse of interstate,
Yeah.
and then lands on the hood of another car, all doing what I have to gather is 100 million miles an hour.
And this movie has a 91% on IMDb. Don't even
'Cause it's
fucking.
amazing.
It's so good.
So does the Avengers. It's just as fucking dumb.
I can't wait for Fast 11 when you and I are in it. I'm gonna call in as many
What
as
Avengers
I need
does is
to.
that it explains to you that magic is real. The
Mm.
Avengers gives you the conceit that magic is real, super science is real, all this stuff, and that's why it's okay. Fast and Furious never does that. The only thing that's making this shit happen is the magic of family. That is really the heart of it all. Is like, I can do any fucking thing I need to if my fucking family's in danger.
Also,
That's the movies. All of them.
if one of your family members is executed by, say, another character, it's okay to befriend him and call him family two shows later.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all kind of
But if
circumstantial.
family is so important to Vin Diesel, which it seems to be the number one thing we've spoke about. Why haven't we met his brother until Fast and the Furious 9?
Yeah.
His secret agent race car driving spy brother that we never got talked. His brother, does his brother work for a government agency? Because it seems like it. But now so does Vin Diesel.
Just you're spending too much time trying to
it's
understand
so
what's
good.
happening. Beat says Dom would wreck Thanos with a wrench in 20 seconds.
That's true, dude.
Fucking,
You go for the head.
he would. He would.
He would have to. You're not going to miss that giant purple dome.
So I think the difference is that movies like Fast and the Furious and the movies like Avengers, it's just one you say are superpowers and one you say are magic. They're the same goddamn thing.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, they never say they're supposed to be humans. They're supposed to be street racers.
Yeah,
They
but we
become super
waved
spies
bye-bye to that a
right,
long time.
That become aerial Avengers. That's exactly what I mean. Is that
I'm,
at some point it
also
shifted.
with you. At
Yeah.
some point, we went from stealing DVDs with Honda Civics
Yes.
to being the world's greatest covert operatives.
Yeah.
Only
You
from
got-
on-the-job training. We've never seen these people practice once.
Oh man, you can
They're just naturally gifted at it. What can it's not their fault.
you can hear all the great insights on Cast and the Furious.
But you should. You absolutely should.
I'm so sorry my chair is this loud. Is it killing everyone else?
I don't give a shit about anything right now.
Okay, good.
Professional.
I didn't even know it was your chair. I just assumed Bonnie was making some sort of
It's just
sound.
my body. You're not that far off.
Well, I said Bonnie, but it could be your body.
It could also be my body.
Where are you guys in the movie right now?
Fucking.
They're climbing the shopping carts in the apartment building.
They're in the
Loosely
stairwell for
32
me.
minutes in.
Yeah, give or take. Oh yeah, Matt's right.
I think I might be just a smidge ahead of you, but
No one ever watches the movies with us. I've learned that in Cast and the Furious very quickly. People just want to hear Matt talk about Matt stuff.
right.
What?
Yeah,
Matt's
it's
talking
like
about
this
that
show.
stuff?
The movies are a jumping off point, and then at some point we'll talk about Taco Bell. And
It's likely.
yeah,
My addiction to cookies lately. God damn it. It's the reason I have to do all this exercise. Is to justify cookies.
Yeah, I like how last week you're like, I have a toothache, and then I see you eating fucking cookies. Like, maybe you shouldn't eat cookies, man.
Well, the tooth gave way, so we're good.
you can blend cookies and then just suck them through a straw and
I
then brush your teeth.
I figured
Definitely
you pulled it
had
out.
a part of a molar disappear. It doesn't hurt anymore, so ride
Well,
that out until
It can't hurt
Corona's up.
if it's gone.
Yeah, right. But there's also not like some shitty exposed nerve that seems like a problem.
That is.
Ooh,
okay,
that's the biggest part,
to worry
yeah.
about. Yeah.
So, Yeah, nothing hurts to eat.
Oh, that's the best. That's
Yeah,
what
last
matters
week it
most.
was not so cool, and then now it's not a problem. So
It
I'll
worked
get it
out,
fixed
man.
at some point after we get out of the old Corona times.
And that's the thing. Like, I'm starting to worry about what I'm going to do with my hair. I've already asked my wife if she could cut it if needed. I talked about shaving my head earlier. I should not shave my head. I would instantly regret that.
That's my fear, is that I'm gonna like do something stupid in my hair, and then instantly everything's gonna clear up. 2 days later, we're all gonna go back to the real world, and I'm gonna have to live with that shit.
Yep.
Yeah, it'll grow back.
Well, and
I
that's
think there's
the
gonna be a lot of hats in the new society.
Yeah,
that's
I'm
what I-
definitely not trimming or cutting my hair until all this is over.
and I kind of was curious in like a weird way about that because I know you're a
Yep.
man who likes to stay very trimmed.
Yeah, I try to keep her clean. As a man,
It's not that
a man
bad
of
though.
influence.
Your hair's not that bad. It's not like mine.
No,
I
but
just-
it started out
just
at like skin.
look at this. And just Imagine dealing with
That's
this.
oh, you're killing it back there.
It's getting pretty bad.
I just wear it like this all the time.
I just assume I'm gonna have a man bun by the time we get out of this.
That's what I've been doing. Like,
But
I didn't work in the office for the last week, so I would wash my hair, over condition it. One day I didn't even wash it; I just conditioned it, and then put it up in a bun. And like I haven't combed my hair in a week up until today because it won't look nice for you guys.
Hell
and
yeah.
then I haven't shaved in about 2 weeks.
I took a shower today.
Yeah,
I've showered every day, but I also train
Same
every
here.
day, so I'm disgusting.
Today was the first day I think in probably like a week and a half I haven't worked out. Let's count this.
Attaboy.
I had to go
You
shopping.
know you can do both, right? Like I ride the trainer here with a joint in front of me.
Oh no. Yeah, most times I work out around lunchtime and then drink. It's just Sundays we've been doing like FaceTime video calls with a buddy of mine whose son is my godson. So I just
Oh my god, I almost drowned. What happened? Why did my body revolt against me?
that was holy shit. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I like how
shot
you
it right out of my
you just
nose.
use a hat to clean your face off.
Oh god, that was incredible.
Yeah, no. Today we did some sort of social interaction through the internet earlier than I could also lift because I just didn't have any motivation this morning, so I took today off.
Nice.
Yeah.
Take days off.
Oh, for sure, and it's been nice here. I know Corey and I live much norther than you, but I've been able to work out outside and not freeze my fucking dick off.
Yeah, what is the regular temperature where your dicks are?
Right now,
Yeah.
50, 55, 50s?
Oh, nice.
45, 55, yeah. It snowed like a couple days ago here.
Yeah,
Oh,
Thursday
shit.
we had a full-on several inches of snow. It was in the high 30s, low 40s, and then 24 hours later, every inch of that snow was gone.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're basically just still getting the last dying vibes of winter.
Yep. Yeah, it was 60 yesterday, but really windy, but
That
nice
sounds
enough
more
that
like
I
a
could work
social
out.
commentary than anything.
Right.
The dying vibes of winter. You gonna have a hate line called "The Dying Vibes of Winter"? You should.
Yeah, big time.
Nah, fucking, of course.
Just super morose.
Hates crossover promotion with My Chemical Romance.
It's all be great. A lot of eyeliner.
I'm into it.
Because we're all here, I do need to point out your customer service is fucking amazing.
Thank you.
They had sent me the wrong colored flannel after I had to reorder because I'm fatter than I thought I would be.
It says size up on there, Matty.
I know, and I was like, it'll be okay.
You're like, I'll be fine.
Yeah. So then I had to reorder one size larger, and then they sent me the wrong one. They sent me the right color like within a day.
Yeah.
So big
Yeah, we
ups.
know. We're going to fuck stuff up.
Which totally everyone does. It's not just you;
a
it's
failure
everyone.
rate at some point, right? And we have enough orders, and if it's 1% of every 100 orders gets fucked up, then I mean, like, The
But
best
how
we
you
can
handle
do.
it is how you get repeat business.
That's exactly right.
I mean, also since this is going out tonight, maybe we should talk about your drop tomorrow.
Yeah, it's
The
true.
big old 420 drop.
We do have a 420 drop over at thehate.com. I've got a handful of items. I've got locked and loaded long sleeve, like a brick colored long sleeve tee, a green tee, a women's crop sweater. Really cozy out there for all the ladies, I imagine, are listening to Podcast of Terror, if I had to guess it. Big female audience we got?
3 of them, maybe.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Another women's crop tank, and we also did a custom like one hitter, which is it's like a machined aluminum. It's gold. It's got a built-in grinder to it, and the top's held on with a magnet. It is lovely.
Ooh, now
Does a great job.
if only I could get some marijuana.
Well, just go with CBD. Same.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That's legal now. We'll go with that route.
I also recently started trying a new CBD, RDSP Farms.
Are they going to
What's it
actually start sponsoring stuff?
Maybe, and they send just flour
Go to
a bunch of different strains.
go to your right. I cropped your video so that you fit too far. There you go.
Yep. So They sent me a handful of different strains, and it's been nice. It's been nice, like rolling a joint with that. And dude, honestly, that versus THC. I mean, we're talking about a little bit of apples to oranges here,
Yeah.
but dude, they're killer for everything that I want to get from CBD with some pain relief or anxiety or any of that. It's awesome. So being able to use that in the one hitter is cool, but also I like weed.
Well, my thing with always like I have some pre-rolled CBD joints that I need to actually like go smoke outside. They're not Lowell Herb, unfortunately. They're from a local place, but my like the concept of purchasing CBD flower to grind it and smoke it just seems like weird.
It is, right? Because it seems like a thing I would do the other.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But for taking something that's going to work on the same level that I think good CBD flower does with whether that's anxiety or better sleep, reduce inflammation, all those type of things. I mean, you're talking about taking an aspirin, you're talking about taking something for sleep, whether that's people use Benadryl or they're going to use NyQuil or any of this almost every day, or even Ambien.
Right.
I'd way rather the idea of having a plant, an untouched plant that I can digest, seems better to me than a bunch of bullshit medicine. I mean, all those things work, right? But save them for when you really fucking need those things.
Right.
Otherwise, you've built some immunity and you're taking an Ambien every night.
Right, but like aspirin and
stuff.
stuff.
About Ambien is taking them and not going to sleep.
I've never taken Ambien, but I really want to. Like the Ambien jerk-off party, but I also have heard of the shit that I've also heard of the shit that people have done, like take an Ambien and then drive a car and stuff, and that's a little
take Ambien and become a racist.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need Ambien to be a racist.
That's true. It just helps.
Yeah, you can blame it on Ambien if you're accidental internet racist.
Not Rosie O'Donnell. When Roseanne Barr got in trouble for that. I mean, whatever.
Do you think that she just used that as an excuse to be racist?
She called out and said it was Ambien, blah blah blah, and she, wasn't at the wheel.
Yeah.
Ambien responded to her tweet and said, "Sorry, racism's not one of our side effects."
That's what I'm saying. So I almost feel like
whoever at fucking Ambien wrote that deserves a medal.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, I feel like she did something stupid and was like, "Well, I take Ambien, so here's my scapegoat."
Maybe she wasn't fucking awake. I don't know. Let's just say I'm not calling her a liar.
No, but I also don't like her enough to like say she's potentially telling the truth.
I'm fucking indifferent about her. I don't give a shit about Roseanne Barr.
Her voice makes me want to kill a child.
Yeah, it's not
too
great.
far. Yeah, okay. All right, just want to make sure.
But yeah, it's fucking Ambien's a weird one, dude. Like I know.
Yeah.
I mean, who? Kevin James has a story apparently, like where he went to the store and like bought a bunch of cooking supplies and like came home and started to prepare roast a turkey.
Yeah, see that scares me.
Was like someone broke in our house. The kitchen's a disaster. And it seems like they started baking a turkey.
Yeah, that's fucked up. That's real fucked up to me. Yeah, that's messed up.
It's super scary, the idea that you got in a car, went to the store, made a purchase, and you weren't the lights weren't on.
Mm-hmm. No, that's the thing, is the amount of stuff that, without doing that, that I still find I just unconsciously will do, or I will slip out of the moment and suddenly realize, oh, what the fuck did just happen? Where am I? How does it, when you're driving and you just have no clue how you got to where you are, I'm just tuned out. I wound up driving to a job that I hadn't worked at in about 5 or 6 years one time, went completely in the wrong direction from my house that I didn't live at when I worked at that job. So there was no just auto, I'm just going to do what I do all the time. No, it was
weird.
I had to go in a completely different direction to get to a job that I hadn't worked at for years, and then realize as I was pulling up to it, I don't work here. I'm not dressed for this place. What's going on?
Yeah. No, super, super gnarly. This is really the only major bullshit scene of the whole film.
With the fucking car.
Is the idea that he in this London black cab taxi from Fake Taxi UK.
I watch their films on Pornhub.
Like, he didn't drive this up a pile of rubble onto the top of cars and then drive on top of cars successfully
Right.
out of that situation. Like, it would have high centered on something.
Oh, for
There's
sure.
Zero chance.
Right.
Like, I'm not sure you could do it if you set it up Evil Knievel wise, like the best case scenario of how these cars got piled into, this this tunnel.
Yeah, it feels like a sort of tacked on scene. Like we need something to ramp tension here.
It's so scary though, dude. The idea
Yeah.
of being trapped in that, and then like change this flat tire.
Fuck.
You also
that.
can't get any real concept of how far they are from him.
No, that's the other part.
It's
is that
definitely
they built
very
it such a
Monty
way.
Python, like running over the hill bit. Bonnie and I we've been just binge watching series through quarantine here every night, and we're I think we're at the last episode tonight of Breaking Bad.
Ooh, is this your first time through it?
No,
Oh,
I've seen
rewatch. Okay.
it. It's different watching it now. Man, the first seasons look so much like standard TV.
Mm-hmm.
Like they look like a set. It looks like they're filming a TV show, right? Like just the way it's shot. And then it transforms like in season 4 to where it starts actually looking like a movie.
I could see that.
I don't know if camera technology changes that much through that course of time to getting to 4K or whatever it is, but it's just a better looking show
Yeah.
by the end. And the transformation of Walter White is incredible, but he is
Fuck yeah.
a piece of shit.
Oh God. And I've
He
heard.
is 100%
I've
the
heard.
worst character in the show.
Yeah, and I've heard rewatching it once you know how it ends makes it so much different to watch it at the start. Are you watching Better Call Saul?
That's what we're diving into next,
Okay.
which I'm super pumped on. I watched the first season,
Okay.
and I didn't get out of it for any reason. I just
Didn't? Yeah.
keep watching it.
We started Game of Thrones. We're 5 episodes in, and I'm like, I don't fucking know what's happening.
Oh yeah, that'll happen for a while.
Yep.
And I don't.
Also, it's really tough in the first couple seasons to get an idea of geography.
And that's the thing. Like, I don't know if it doesn't get me after one season. I don't know if I can continue.
Well,
Breaking Bad's that way. Like the first 2 seasons of Breaking Bad are slow.
Oh fuck.
and the geography thing about Game of Thrones is it only gets easier in seasons later on because they stop giving a shit about how long it takes to travel from.
They
place
just
to
don't
place.
fucking care.
Yeah, it was just
Also-
like suddenly discovered a magical teleporter to get me to.
This place that took 6 months earlier in the show to go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The other issue I have with that, right? Like, and especially that last season with Khaleesi.
yeah.
Or even the Red Keep. And the Red Keep makes a hair more sense because they're not on the move.
Mm-hmm.
What fucking seamstresses are working to
So
make these dresses?
okay. So when you
and
brought this,
all of this shit, like that final scene where
So-
Khaleesi does the big Hitler speech
all right, you brought this up in Cast
and
and
the
the
black
Furious.
flags and all this. Like, who the fuck sewed all this?
God damn it! So you brought this up in Cast and the Furious, and I think it was Beat or someone else mentioned that in the books this is all explained.
Come on.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for Beat to kind of correct me, but I'm fairly
And they don't
certain.
even know what the location of where that speech was going to be given. So someone showed up and was like, 4 flags for sure.
She got a lot of slaves working for her by that point, though.
Well,
Right.
there's that.
Like,
But like, is she
freed
like, I'm going to
slaves,
need
but-
you guys to carry textiles?
Right.
Like your wagon has textiles to make my fucking dresses? And
You
like
gotta look good though.
sequins and bedazzled bullshit and like all this other stuff. Like, what the fuck? Like someone, how many people in that group, or is that their gig? Because she's got incredible dresses that fit perfect.
And the amount of boobs that I've seen in 5 episodes of that show is pretty top notch.
It is pretty good. Also, a lot of incest, so I know you're into that.
What? What the fuck?
You know what you always say.
I mean, I don't hate
The
it.
better,
They
I've always wanted to see a fucker sister brother.
Taxi videos.
That's right. A lot of stepdad stuff going on in the old pornos nowadays.
That is exactly what I search for when I go to Pornhub.
Stepdads?
Yeah,
Matt, you're never going to find your
stepdaughters
father.
and
Okay,
stepdads.
give it up.
I know my dad. I know my real dad. He lives in Sheboygan.
He's cam showing.
He's got a real thick mustache.
Your dad's a cam model.
Dude, if my dad was a cam model, I would be so fucking pumped.
You also know he's definitely just whatever he's doing is for dudes to watch.
That's fine.
It's not like there's some group of attractive ladies who fucking paying for pornography.
He's done very well for himself, and I'm proud of him. I like how that's what silenced everyone.
Oh, yeah.
Talking about my dad's thick mustache and doing dude for dude porno.
It's a little weird, just some dude touching.
I mean, you brought it up. It wasn't even me.
Hey,
I was
man,
just
I
wondering-
support the arts.
I was wondering, age-wise, if your
why I
dad
pay
played the
for
guy who
pornography.
played Evil Ed in Fright Night.
I don't know. My dad turns 70 in June.
Yeah, maybe. Like, that guy is not young.
I really liked when my dad turned 69.
Nice. I
Ooh.
would use that number forever.
Oh, for sure. Matt, did I send you the Dog the Bounty Hunter cameo that we got for my dad?
Yes.
The
very happy with
the
this shitty
fucker got
cameo.
his birthday wrong. He got his age wrong.
Of course they did. You get a one. I love just the one take of like, fuck
God
it.
damn it. Just, fucking whatever. Ugh.
Like I sent over a message that says,
Mike Boudet of Sword and Scales on cameo now.
"Oh, I can't listen to it anymore."
I know, and I fucking ruined it for you, and I'm so glad I did.
Yeah.
But yeah, I saw that. I was like,
It is a scumbag.
25.
I can't listen. I've been listening to one
Whoa.
called Red Handed.
How is that? I've never heard of it.
Two English broads. It's pretty good.
Oh, okay. I don't know, man. All the like true crime and fuck, it's starting to get a little too much. Like I just want to hear dick and fart jokes at this point. Now we're just awkward silence.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. You're probably wheeling and
attacked.
dealing.
All right, I don't know where you guys are in the film, but did you see the part where they just went past the wind turbines?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, there right there is your advertisement of the end of the fucking world, but solar energy and wind energy still working,
They still work. They involve us doing nothing.
and we're still arguing about this 20 years later.
At some point with solar, it really kind of blows my mind that like the day 2 that solar existed.
Yeah.
That we have officially, like someone did it, it works, it charges a battery. Why didn't all efforts get turned to like, how do we make this more efficient and affordable?
Too far.
Fuck. Like, weren't there giant swaths of land?
Because you can't
In
own
Arizona.
the sun.
Don't own it. Right. God damn it. I know you're right.
That's what it is. You can't own the sun, but you can own plots of land that has dead dinosaur carcass underneath it and milk
So
that
weird.
shit forever. I
So strange.
totally get it.
I do love that we've, in this short amount of time, we've seen a major cutback, like in pollution over cities.
Mm-hmm.
Like in
Dude.
less than a month, like, hey, oh yeah, we can fix the problems on Earth. Like, they're not unfixable. Look, we're doing it.
Yeah, but we know what the fix is.
You know what the
Getting rid of
real
us.
fix, yeah, the real fix is about 30% less people on the planet.
Yeah.
We
That's
we were watching
No one's
live,
real happy with that answer, but
but it's true.
yeah, I mean, historically, you either have war or some type of viral infection that kills the herd.
I was going to say, and that's why this week's movie is not Schindler's List, because this conversation would be a totally different context if we were talking about
Yeah,
that.
you can't be choosy with the colon. That's the thing.
Yeah.
We were watching live PD earlier today.
I think if you wanted to call a herd, like pick someone to choose, they gotta go and not get attacked by it. Your best bet is like middle class dads. Because they're still allowed to be the butt of jokes, like in any infomercial or commercial. It's just like some dingus dad who can't fucking catch a ball or stubs his toe or can't cook with a grill and use tongs this way, so he needs to order some other bullshit at home seen from TV thing. Like that's who
you already mentioned Kevin James. Like every character Kevin James has ever played on TV,
that's
exactly who should be going for.
You are allowed to completely make fun of and treat that guy like an imbecile piece of shit in portrayals, and no one complains.
Nope.
Just uncomfortable grunts.
Yeah, I mean, they're probably not really complaining. Life's goddamn pretty sweet for them.
Right.
Have some tall, cool, crispy boys with the boys. Maybe go hit the golf balls around.
Can't go to a golf course anymore. At least here.
How are they even keeping alive?
Yeah, I've seen more petitions going around to open golf courses than I ever thought.
But see, I find that's a stupid thing. Like, you have distance.
All right.
You have fucking complete distance at a golf course.
You do if you do it correctly. It's just that people are idiots.
Well, like, I can go ride my bike with my buddy.
But you're not an idiot.
That's also true.
That's what happened.
That's the problem.
We had really simple, basic kind of like, here's some guidelines. Just follow these guidelines. We're gonna be okay. We can ride it out. We'll be all right. And everyone's like, fucking guidelines, bullshit. Well, like I'm gonna go make out and have fucking beach parties.
Anything that describes Americans more than the idea of just
not being an idiot.
Oh, I completely agree with you, but not me, right?
Right.
Dude,
they're special.
I know some people who they showed up at our house uninvited, which is my number one no-no. I moved to the middle of nowhere for a reason. Given circumstances within our family, I was okay with it. But then, like 2 days later, they're like, "Hey, we're gonna come over tomorrow," and my wife and I were like, "No." Like, there's a reason this shit is happening. Yeah. So we're like, we'll hang out through the internet like everyone else. Time comes to hang out, and they're just like, well, we went to someone else's house for dinner, and we'll just talk to you later. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And every night, they just go to someone's house, and I'm like, you are the problem.
Yeah. Well, so at this point, I don't know. At the point we're at, I think the turn that's got to be made is we have to start letting healthy, not at-risk people go back to work.
Like, well, we just don't know who are.
But that we definitely don't have any way to decipher really who it's going to really fuck up.
Yeah.
We have better chances.
Right.
You know, it seems like obesity, it seems if you're a smoker, it seems if you're over 65, like these are kind of more at risk than, say, 38-year-old me who exercises every day and takes care of my immune system.
Woohoo, working on forever.
Yes. I think that's another change that we ought to see.
Yeah.
I completely agree, and it should. It was funny because a few years ago you started to see that pushback when was it Melissa Blair? Somebody had taken over at Yahoo, who came from Google, and took over Yahoo, and that ship just drove right in the ground. But one of the things she did is she pulled back everybody who was used to working from home and said, "Hey, you got to start working the offices again," because that intimacy in your day-to-day is what allows achievements to be happening. I get that, but we were still a little bit further back on things like Zoom and Skype, and they weren't quite there yet. We definitely should be at a point of, hey, you can and probably should work from home a lot of the time. If you can achieve it that way, then do it. Because why are we spending...
I think it saves money for companies.
Yes.
Fuck yes.
Right? And so, like, here's a perfect example of that, Corey. And this was something I entertained with my brother a lot whenever, I had that gig. What percentage cut of your salary would you take to work from home?
At least 10, especially if I could start doing things like claiming it on taxes.
Oh, of course you can.
And
they don't give a shit. It doesn't affect their business at all. It only helps you.
What I would save on fuel, if I could invest that into having my own energy grid system, like getting solar panels and stuff for my house, being able to just kind of comp all that stuff in, not having to focus on going somewhere else, the extra time that it takes every day, because I
Sure.
drive a 45-minute drive to work, which is
hour
a
and a
delightful drive,
Yep.
but
Sure,
it's
but
still
it's
one
an
more
hour and a
fucking
half,
thing.
5 days a week.
The anxiety of having to use a shared toilet, fuck that.
Oh, that doesn't bother me.
No,
I'll shit wherever I gotta shit, man. I don't care.
I mean, look, I think that there are some jobs and people that need to be in an office setting.
I
Yeah.
agree.
But I think if they're jobs that don't require that,
or require it one day a week or something.
fuck all that. That's posturing. Like, look, if we need to have a meeting and get together about a thing because we don't seem to be accomplishing it via video.
Well, Matt and I are IT, and there is some shit that just really does require our hands-on.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Don't
But-
get me wrong.
but
if
no
it does
meetings,
require a hands-on, but like not a meeting.
Nope, not a single meeting has ever required me to see your dumb fucking face in person. I've listened to my wife talk about diaper technology over the internet. And I think those are potentially more important meetings to have in person. There's no reason that you need to hear me tell you why you're a fucking idiot in person instead of over the internet.
I have two managers
You're doing great,
because I
Guilfoyle.
work for
you.
a contractor and I work for a major company through that contractor. So I have two different managers. These two managers have been in meeting after meeting after meeting since this whole rollout of working from home kicked in. And it's absolutely because they just have to look busy.
Of course it is,
Someone's
right?
like, we have to have a meeting about this, and then we have to follow it up with this other meeting about this, and we have to have this other fucking meeting about this. It's the same bullshit that every corporation has. It's like somebody has to come up with an idea to fuck shit up just so they can be the one to fix it in a
not
new
only
way.
that, it
and
justifies
look
their
good.
position.
Exactly.
Right, the justification of your job. I would say talking with other friends, like based on like kind of what my lifestyle is now, that I not only work from home, but I only work for me. And where the big difference comes in, because I get a lot of questions like, well, how do you manage time? Because I'm doing a coffee company, apparel company, I have the podcast.
Swinging
And
huge
then
dick right now. Just
Yeah, and so then I have a couple friends that I also, some other companies that I do some collaboration work for, stuff like the creative work. The real difference is like if you ask most people, like how many real hours of work does it take a week to do your job? And it ain't 40.
Right. But that's the
Right.
magic number that we all hit on that said this is
Of course.
right.
Of course. The difference is like I don't ever have to do busy work. So instead of there ever being a time that I have to like send an email or file a report or document a thing happened or look for this to get in touch with these people, all these little time sucks along the way, like I don't have any. And
But
that allows me to just pour in like time that actually accomplishes the job.
yeah.
And then I have time to do that for a second job because there isn't any busy bullshit wasted time.
I also think that 40 hours a week is an arbitrary number. If you're accomplishing the job that you're employed for, it shouldn't matter if it takes 10 or if it takes 60.
Well,
Right.
the 40 hours a week isn't about what you're supposed to work to be efficient at doing something. The 40 hours a week was the maximum that you're supposed to do something before they start to compensate you beyond it.
Right.
But everyone
Which-
just assumed, well, if it's 40 hours a week, then we work everybody to that 40 so that we don't have to pay
Yeah,
them
that's the
any more,
only
but
thing
we don't
considered
work them
full-time.
any less.
Right. Which now that 40 is turned into 45 or 50, and there's it's just fucking whatever.
Well, like America also very, very much likes the feeling of martyrdom that comes from continuing at a job that you don't like.
Fuck
And-
that.
Like there's some bit of pride in it of like, I went to the same place for 35 years and I blah, 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 blah. Like, man, it's a choice.
It is, but I think we're also getting to a point now where that choice is less of. It seems less forced.
Well, there's
Obviously,
a lot of other avenues to make a living now.
now, which maybe those currently those always existed before, but now.
No, they didn't. Nothing I do exists 25 years ago.
Fair enough, and that was kind of the thought. I was like, was there different ways to make money then that could have been equated to how you make money now? Does that make sense?
Selling weed?
I don't know. I don't know what you could do to make my level of income that wouldn't have been
The same back then.
corporate.
And I completely agree with where you're headed.
In a creative way.
Yeah.
There was no creative jobs that do what I do.
The gig economy was almost always the jobs that were made illegal.
Yep.
Your
Right.
sex work, your drug sales, those things were the gig economy for a long time.
Yep.
That was your hustle. You know, doing card tricks on the road, husking.
Right.
Busking,
3-card
whatever it is,
Monte
yeah.
or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
But-
kind of stuff.
So Beat makes a really good point. Is not everyone can be a creative.
No, of course not.
And that's a very good point because no matter
Well, if
how hard
everyone
you
could do
try,
it, everyone would.
do it. Yeah.
Also, not everybody wants to, though.
That's
I
also
think
true.
that there's some people, like what you were saying earlier, you don't want to be in that fixed day of, like, my day is broken up in these sections and I do this at this point. I kind of crave that in some
Of
ways.
course. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
very aware that this is what I need. And
Right.
I'm very fortunate that I can even play into what I know that I need. But I also am very aware that there's people that have a 9-to-5 job with routine that are very happy.
Yep.
Right.
I don't equate one to the other. I just know what wouldn't work for me.
But how many of those
Right.
jobs are falsely created? How many of them are just there because we have to have these jobs and we have to keep employing people and we get write-offs of a certain level and we have enough employees and we
of
go
course.
up and everything, and then but they're also the ones that can be instantly eliminated when times get shit.
Right. There's a ton of redundancy. This is also one of the most bummer fucking moments in the whole movie. Is-
Mad Eye Mooney.
Oh,
Okay, so
yeah.
I don't know if either of you have ever watched or
Harry Potter?
read the Harry Potter stuff.
course.
That guy is Mad Eye Mooney.
I know.
And this is a moment where I'm just like, I wonder if they just said, hey, let's get the guy who got the drop of blood in his eye and went fucking crazy to play the Mad Eye Mooney character in Harry Potter after this.
Jesus, dude.
But it is fucked up. It is fucked up because you have that. It's so
He didn't
fast.
do anything wrong.
He didn't do anything
Right.
wrong. Well, he got a
What
little
the-
emotional.
He tried to scare off a bird.
Right,
Like the
from-
fucking consequence for scare off a bird there was a little high.
But it was that
When-
moment of he walked away from everybody because he was pissed off and he was blowing off steam
Yep.
and he wasn't thinking it through. But it's for his daughter to see this moment of, my dad just basically told me that he's infected, and she
And
gets
now
about
he's
30
dead.
seconds to deal with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, you guys were all talking about your CBD stuff and anxiety and things. I don't do any of that stuff.
You probably
I
should.
probably should. I
Yeah.
just never have.
Should
So
absolutely try.
It's a habit at this point. But that is that moment of like, shit. Like, she starts going, like, give me that value. Give me that stuff that's going to make me not care. Yeah, that sounds pretty good sometimes.
It's
Of
not
course
that it
does.
makes you
And that's-
not
that's where
care.
people get-
I don't want to say it doesn't make you not care, but it.
which doesn't.
See, I don't think CBD
Valium?
makes you not care.
The
Valium.
volume, though.
We're talking about Valium.
I'm sorry. Valium
Yeah,
makes
'cause
you
it
not
definitely
give a
makes you not
fuck. Yeah.
No, I've taken Valium before, and it didn't make me not care, which actually made me pissed off. It made
Yeah.
me
Oh, man.
angry.
So going into the hospital for surgeries, they use a Versed,
Mm-hmm.
and of all the drugs I'm familiar with and comfortable with, and have dealt with through whatever, that's the only one that I'm aware that I don't need access to it. I'd be in trouble.
So
It's the best.
I think that almost makes you like a more responsible human being when you can understand when something is a little more than what you need. And
Yeah, I
that's
don't need that.
right.
Because,
Right.
man, the pink cloud that you move into, like when that shit washes over, is so good.
And that's like me and Vicodin. I fucking love Vicodin, but I also understand that I don't need
Of
it.
course.
I don't need it.
Yeah, you're supposed to love Vicodin.
Yes. So that's something I steer clear of.
One of those things that I think about with with a lot of people and kind of especially when it comes to talking about drugs or anything like that, like it's always worth remembering that like no one went for their second dose of heroin or cocaine or meth because the first time was a bad time.
Right.
Right. I've never had to take Vicodin, but my dad was addicted to painkillers because of back issues and cancers and a bunch of other stuff. And I took him to a new doctor when they moved to the area, and we were trying to work out how he was going to get his prescriptions, and he wanted to work his way off of this stuff, but it's so fucking hard. And the doctor was they had just changed the laws and everything, so the doctor's like, yeah, we're not giving you any of that. And he's like, well, I can't just stop. So for me, my understanding of Vicodin and things like it is, it's not that it makes you feel good, it's how terrible it makes you feel when you're not taking it.
So it with pain meds, right? So you've got pain meds that change your sensation of pain. So like anti-inflammatory stuff like that. So they're attacking and dealing with pain at the cause of pain to reduce inflammation, which is why you're having pain.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Vicodin hits your opioid receptors, and it makes you not feel pain here. It doesn't make this not hurt. You just don't get the reading anymore.
Yeah.
This thing's still fucked up. Whereas like anti-inflammatories reduce pain because they're actually helping the thing.
The source.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, then of course, you build such a gnarly immunity, tolerance to Vicodin or opiates in general. And
it's a bad time.
not a cool thing, man.
No,
Yeah,
not at all.
My wife recently got diagnosed with fibromyalgia, which is sort of a catch-all in a we don't know exactly what it is, but we can tell something's fucked up. And she might have that sort of arthritis where it's like your nerve endings are just constantly like firing. You feel itchy, you feel burning, you feel all this stuff, and there's no way to really just get around it, and you just have to fight your way through, and eventually it becomes harder and harder to do that.
Right. I would try some really heavy dose CBD stuff.
Yeah, and I think that she's not like me. She's definitely tried weed and things, but I don't know that we found a CBD thing that's going to be right for her yet.
I would try smoking it.
Yeah, which is what she
Man,
would
I really do think it works. It works better.
I agree.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Is just because I've got my head trips about things, I don't put that on her, and I would never put that on like you guys or anybody else. I'm for the stuff. I just for some reason have not done it.
Right on. I mean, that's a choice everyone's got, right? Like,
right.
I like these things, and I think that they're. Right. I wish that they would just get looked at as a viable tool the same way prescription drugs have.
Right. I will.
Right.
I will tell you this: whether I drink or I don't drink, I have problems sleeping. If I try to sleep without any sort of THC, I know for a fact I don't sleep as well as if I just take THC before I go to sleep. And that's tracked by my Apple Watch.
Right.
So it's like I know for a fact I sleep more through the night and better if I have THC in me when I sleep.
Yeah, I think that's one of those things. I think for a fully healthy person who sleeps consistently, I think THC lowers the quality of sleep that you have.
Right.
But I got told this a lot as I was looking through a bunch of different things, and I was like, sure, but I sleep better on a bunch of THC than I do fucking being in pain.
Yeah.
Because the THC knocks down either the pain or my give a fuck about it enough that I can be comfortable to fall asleep.
Right.
Which is why I like having an edible. I'll take a pretty good sized edible before I go to bed because I treat it like a time release.
It's like there's nothing different than being in bed when it hits you, and like that warmth with your eyes closed and just being like, "Fuck yeah, man!" Yeah. I hear
and
you.
For me, there was definitely a period of time through all of it that opium or opiates, not just opium, I'm not really partying. that like they would down regulate me and put me to sleep. And then where I'm at now, and like the occasionally time that I need to take one if my shit's just really flared up. And I mean,
Yeah.
fuck, man, maybe once a quarter I need one at this point. You know, which is a giant difference than probably eating 10 a day.
Yeah.
And they don't put me to sleep or downregulate me at all anymore.
Yeah.
I'm just high, which feels it will accomplish the job I'm hoping it accomplishes, but I won't sleep.
And that's the problem. I think sometimes you want to take the stuff to get the side effects, being tired or helping you sleep. But the main focus is just to fucking rock you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's also the problem too. Is like I like all the side effects that I get from smoking marijuana.
Yeah.
Like I like the anti-inflammation. I like that I sleep better. I like all those type of things. But I also really like being stoned.
Oh, dude, it's the fucking
You know what I mean?
greatest.
Like I'm not just going to sit here and pretend that I'm using it for fucking strictly medicinal purposes.
So
I like
good.
being fucking cooked.
Yeah.
I think that's one of my hangups is I don't think I would like that feeling because I've never liked the feeling of being drunk. I've enjoyed it in the
Totally
moment.
different.
Yeah, it's very
but
different.
it's the lack of control.
Oh, so I don't experience that with pot at all. Alcohol, 100%.
Yeah, alcohol.
So-
fucked me up.
Alcohol, I heard it described by a friend, and I really liked it. Is that it's on the scale of drugs from, let's say, psychedelic to non-psychedelic. Like cocaine and alcohol are about as far away as you can possibly get from like a psychedelic type thing or something that you can use to kind of have a trip with. Whereas weed gets a little bit further there, and edible marijuana is even more psychoactive in the system because of the way the liver processes it. And so the problem with the ones like alcohol and cocaine, man, is it just kind of gets louder on the parts of your ego and personality that at least for me, I don't particularly care for that much.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't need to be in a group and be like, oh, this booze makes me want to talk more and makes me louder and slightly more aggressive. Like it's a fucking terrible combination for me. And cocaine's worse. Whereas I'd way rather smoke pot and get slightly more paranoia about the bullshit coming out of my mouth and just maybe be a hair more quiet. No one's ever pulled their shirt off at a bar to get in a fight because they were so high.
No. And again, it's not. I don't have a hang up with people doing pot. It's the hang ups are always me or how I'm going to react, and the fact that I'm 48 and I haven't done it yet just makes me feel like, well, maybe this is just who I am. This is
That's
where
a
I'm at.
terrible reason to not do
I
stuff.
know, but that's who I am, though.
No, I understand
funny
that,
because,
right?
Like, I didn't lose my virginity until I was 25 because I just kept saying, nah. I just waited. Just kept waiting.
Fair. Okay.
And
Yeah.
it wasn't it wasn't like it was some great thing that I waited because there was definitely a point where I was 25 when I'm doing this. I'm like, this is fine.
Yeah.
Why was I holding back before? I don't
Pretty
fucking
cool.
know.
There's some
this is-
prime banging
yeah.
years there.
Yeah, I think there was a some sort of like push in our early years collectively because two of us are about the same age to lay pipe, and it just didn't really pan out. Like my first time was not cool,
No, of course not.
and she
I was
died of a
16,
heroin overdose.
Child.
Yeah, I was.
Super grosses me out, the idea of it.
Yeah, when I think back on that night, I'm not proud of it. It was very strange.
Look, you got to learn to walk before you run, man. Like, it's a practice makes perfect thing. You're not just going to come out there like goddamn Johnny Bench and start.
Oh
knocking
God,
home runs.
no part of me thought I would just like show up and I'm fucking just swinging mad amounts of dick. It was just even when I think back and I was like, God, just there was nothing about that night that was like good. Like
I don't know,
I'm
man.
not
That
happy.
was pretty cool.
Oh, I don't mind that I did the old tip drills. It's the fact that like the girl I did it with was questionable. The situation I did it with was questionable. Like the whole.
gender?
No, I mean, she's she's a corpse now. So she
Wow, Matt did it way wrong.
she liked a lot of heroin years after me. So she's
As long as she wasn't a corpse then.
no. She was still alive.
She also
then.
didn't off herself because of your skills.
No. We're talking like from the time I laid pipe till the point in which she OD'd were like 9 years. She had a child. It was a whole thing.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was. It sucks for her. But yeah, I remember after that night, I was in high school at the time. I was probably a sophomore, early sophomore, late freshman. Someone was like, "Dude, you're fucking gross," and I was like, "One of us is getting our dick sucked, and it's not you." So, what's up?
No one who was currently getting their dick sucked said made fun of anyone.
Exactly, and that was kind of my thought. And I was
It
like,
is
"Whatever,
only
man."
the voice of a person not
Getting their dick sucked. Yeah,
It was like, so dumb, dude.
yeah. What the fuck, man? Why would you put your dick in her? And I'm like, I don't know, man. You ever put your dick in a wet hole? It's pretty cool.
It's super cool.
Yeah, it's not the worst thing.
It's not the worst thing.
No.
I don't even know where we are in the movie.
Experiences.
What?
Way worse experiences.
Oh yeah. You ever been stuck in a cave? Yeah, I went into a cave once, and a man of expansive stature clogged the hole up.
Come on.
Yeah, I was very young.
There was a human blocking you from leaving a cave?
Yeah, he was a
Like a live meat cork?
yeah, it was a friend of my dad's who was a hefty boy at the time. He's since lost a lot of weight after a heart attack. But I remember
the cave incident.
No. God, we're talking like 20 years in between.
He shrugged that one off.
Yeah, I remember sitting in the cave. I was young
I got
enough.
stuck in earth.
I could sit upright. That's how young I was. And I just remember the guy being like, "Hey guys, I'm really stuck. I'm really wedged in here." And just young me being like, "This ain't so bad." Adult me would be like, "We gotta fucking get out of here."
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how long ago it was. Is that I did not understand that I was stuck inside of the earth.
Aaron was watching some movie with somebody stuck in a cave the other day, and I had to walk away from the room. It was a bunch of miners. It was some movie about a bunch of miners.
Oh, the Chilean miners.
I don't think it was Chilean.
Another miner story.
But it was a bunch of people in like the South that work in a coal mine, and it was really fucked up. It was a very good, well-acted movie from what I saw of it, but it got to a point where I'm like, I gotta go. Like, I can't be in the room with this anymore. And we had done The Descent, and I'd said for years before we did The Descent, I'm like, I'm gonna have a fuck ton of problems watching this movie when we get to it.
Dude, The Descent was fucking gnarly.
Oh yeah, it's badass. Hard for me to watch because I had a fucking attack when I was listening to some friends talking about going spelunking and going through caves where you were lying on your back trying to get through, and you could feel the top portion of the rock against your chest while you're on your back on the bottom portion of the rock trying to get through spaces. I'm like, fuck this, out. Gotta go. Loved hanging out with you. See you in a year. Never talk to me about this again.
No,
just can't do it.
There's a lot of movies that, like, when the main character gets out of there, like, what's their fucking plan?
Right.
Like, a perfect example of that for me is like From Dusk Till Dawn.
Oh
yeah.
Like, he just throws Juliette Lewis, who's a fucking high school kid, allegedly, throws her like 20 grand, and he's like, "Good luck." Like, she's in Mexico and watched her family turn into vampires and get murdered. Like
a vampire bordello. It's just like,
let's give her a little bit more of a foot up, George Clooney. Like, I understand your great line about I'm a piece of shit, but I'm not a fucking piece of shit because you're not gonna bang out this little gal. And good. I didn't think you needed to fucking get awarded a medal for that.
In the 90s he did.
Creep. That's true. Basically would have been her fault.
Look at her. She came up to me and tried to get away from the vampires. She wanted it.
She took this money and got in my Porsche. What is it you'd like me to do?
Yeah.
I was on ER. Dust to Dawn's fantastic.
Two different ERs.
It is. It really is.
It's a great movie.
Just want to say, Clooney was on two different shows named ER.
This is a great scene where these two are chatting, and basically they're both kind of outskirts of the group, and one of them's very logical, and he's talking about this return to normalcy.
Yeah.
And he's like, what do you mean normal? When people aren't here? Because is normal for the timeline of the planet. In a long enough timeline, the survival rate's 0. And like eventually the planet will shake us off and start over. Like we haven't been here that long in the scheme of things. Like we're not the dinosaurs were on our planet for 250 million years. Humans have been around like 2.
Yep.
Like, we're not even here yet. And like we'll be gone at some point. Earth won't give a shit.
We're the spinoff.
Yeah, for sure.
We're Joey to Friends. Like this is not the show that anybody even found that interesting. We're just kind of fucking here for a while. We're gonna get canceled in our second season. Now,
I am fascinated to know where we would be as a society at 100 million years, because there's a few things we'd have to, I think, take into account. That if we are still around in 100 million years, we figured out the climate bit, and we didn't blow each other up.
Right.
So I'm curious to know what else is going on. Like if we did that,
see what we've done in 2 million years, and make that a lot worse.
Well, I think that there's some bit of like, if we got that far, it says that we accomplished a few things.
The biggest thing we have to accomplish is to stop quantifying everything. The 40-hour work week, the 8-hour work day, the race, the religion, the gender,
one of those,
all that stuff that we have to like stop giving a shit about to just be able to be satisfied of like, I'm just amoeba bumping into amoeba. How do I keep my amoeba shit going on?
Right. Yeah. It's time's a tough one. A lot of the social justicing and virtue signaling, stuff like that, a lot of that's to me, I think it's such a good sign, because it means we have less real problems. That we actually are getting to focus on weird existential things that have to do with feelings and emotion more than where does food come from.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I mean, it's annoying, but I mean, good problems to fucking have.
Well, that's where we're at right now with this COVID thing, is that the people who are protesting, that are going out and standing in front of places and blocking hospital entrances and shit, are doing that because they're so freaked out about the economy. The economy is a construct that doesn't have to exist, but is, and we put so much fucking emphasis on it for so long. Of course people are going to freak out. Of course they're going to run and say, we have to fix this. We have to fix this over people's lives.
Well,
because it's the most important thing in the world, because that's what everybody's told them their entire existence is that.
But I also understand survival, right?
Oh, sure.
I mean, it's an easy thing for me to say as a guy who doesn't have kids and I have some savings and my business doesn't, like, I didn't get released from a job and take a less salary. I made a choice to get paid less in case this gets wonky. But like, man, I'm not told I can't work. I'm also not a dude who's spent 10 years building a restaurant business that, is, I'm not fucking rich, but like my family's made a good living for, 10 years. And then the next thing you fucking know is like your restaurant business didn't fail because you did something wrong. Like they fucking told you can't work.
Yeah.
Right.
That's fucking crazy.
Right.
And I do get both sides. I do get the safety concerns, right? But man, when we start fining people for being outside instead of having conversations, and we stop like shutting down the national parks or campgrounds, or like I know my brother was saying, like boat docks in Houston are closed. Like, how much fucking further would you like me to get from someone than on my boat in the water? Like, what the fuck are we doing?
But I think a lot of that is the fact is that people couldn't take seriously what they should have been doing. So that, like, we couldn't be in a park together because we couldn't stay 6 feet apart. So that they had to shut down the parks and they had to shut down the boat ramps.
They're getting fed bullshit information half the time.
There's
Dr.
totally
Phil, your Dr. Drew, your Dr. Oz all saying shit like, oh, but it's okay. You know, these
One of
people,
those
again,
three is actually a doctor.
right, exactly. We promoted these people like they're fucking authorities, and then we just let them talk bullshit because we paid them like celebrities to do that.
Right.
And so they say this stuff, and then we're surprised, like, but people are freaking out. They
Meanwhile,
think that it's all false because we keep.
Meanwhile,
giving
one of the
promotion
places we're
fees.
going to get the best information quality is going to be from a professional comedian who, instead of any of our major news outlets, who could have gotten on the same guy who's an expert on infectious disease and just talk about infectious disease and educate everyone on infectious disease for 2 hours. Instead of that, it has to be sound bites, and it has to be nothing longer than 10 seconds and basically just people yelling.
It's hackers.
Like, as of yesterday, I heard we are getting out of shutdown May 1st, and I saw an article that said this may stay going on till 2022.
Right.
Yep.
What the fuck? Why is it that those two things are going to come to me in the same day? And also, what a shame and fucking bullshit system we have. The fact that my stance on COVID is considered right or left.
Mm-hmm.
That if I'm pro-economy, I'm right-wing.
Which obviously COVID is part of the Green Party.
Of course. Of course it is.
No,
It's trying to improve the planet.
Matt will enjoy this. It's the movie Hackers. It's the fact that you can't do movies and stories about hackers in TV because it looks boring as shit to watch somebody do it. So you have to dress that shit the fuck up to entertain people to get them to get a little bit of information in there.
Yep.
Mr. Robot is a fucking amazing show because they taught you how to actually hack while making an entertaining program, but they didn't bullshit any of it. They just did great stuff around the fact that there was actual hacking going on. But more often than not, people don't want the realism. They want the entertainment. And then they'll guess what the realism that they're going to believe is from that by who's the most entertaining to them.
Yeah. Which is what we've proven by our president.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
say what you'd like, pro-Trump, not pro-Trump. We have a reality show TV host as our president.
He loves his
Who still
audience.
talks
and his
about
audience
ratings.
loves him. Yeah.
Like, what the fuck world are we living in? Like, there wasn't some chemist or like someone really well prepared for that job who's really smart and like knows a lot of stuff.
Well, the person going up against him in the next election, it's because of name recognition. It's
That's
branding.
it.
Right.
Yeah.
That all the change the left wants to make, and you provided us a 75-year-old white dude who can't fucking talk.
Yep.
This is what you're gonna send in there. You're gonna send that to debates against Donald Trump. You're so fucked.
That's the reality we live in now.
Well, and also the fact that we're talking about it like it's a sporting event is sad.
Yep.
Because it is entertainment TV.
It's entertaining until it affects our lives for the next 4 years or the next 8 years or the next 12 years.
Well, ain't neither side really put up anything I'm very interested in.
Oh, sure.
Right.
I'm
No,
still
I completely agree.
slightly rooting for, as soon as the really big debates start, structure fire. Because I think everyone's basically there, right? Like someone could be the dude to jam the broom in the door to not let him out of the auditorium, and
Yeah, just turn it into a Kiefer Sutherland vehicle and like let's make that happen.
I mean, like, and look, I don't need them to go painfully. I just need them to go. Like it could be CO2 poison. I don't care. They could just all fall asleep. It doesn't have to be horrible.
Those are the motherfuckers.
I just prefer they don't have jobs anymore. Doing any of the things they currently do.
It's those motherfuckers that have to get out of jail free cards. You know, you got Boris Johnson over in England who's like, I don't believe in this shit. I'm shaking everybody's hands, and then goes into fucking intensive care for 3 days and comes out like Jesus. Fuck it.
I blew it. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's a weird place out there. Fuck, yeah.
It is. But
To throw this slightly back to the movie.
Oh, please.
Is that why we're here?
One of the things I like about this film too is that it's paced well. Like they don't mind letting a scene float.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like just be silent because it's so gnarly. Also, that's a pretty hell of a shot that he blew that chain.
That's true. Simply because it's on my mind, what is your favorite quarantine snack, Matt?
It's been cookies.
What kind of cookie though? What's your favorite cookie?
So there's two kinds that have been there's the playing the long game, as they would call it, and then there's the immediate gratification cookies. The ideal cookie is from Fat and Weird.
Which I've noticed they ship nationwide, so that might
I noticed
happen.
you got an email from them. That ain't because you didn't sign up.
Shut your fucking mouth.
So I ordered a dozen or so Fat and Weird cookies last Sunday. So they take like a week to show up.
I think that's better than if they showed up quickly.
Well, except for it's Sunday again, and at 8 p.m., I have 12 cookies currently, but should I order because will I eat 12 before they get here?
You know you will. You're fat like the rest of us at heart, just because you're
God,
not
I'm so
fat.
fat.
Yeah, just,
I have such a capacity of fatness.
That's an Amazon auto ship situation.
I liked
Just
you better when you were a fat guy.
So that's what we've done is I'll order cookies from them because we've got friends who run it. They're rad and like they're killing it. I like that they're from the fitness and strength space, but didn't try to make healthy fitness cookies. They just made fucking awesome cookies.
Yeah.
And then
Oh shit! Their next restock is in 1 hour and 15 minutes.
yeah, dude, and they're gone in 20 minutes.
This isn't gonna
If
fucking
you
end
don't
well.
fucking order today, like you ain't getting cookies.
All right.
And so, do you guys have insomnia cookies?
No, I think there's one in Minneapolis, but that's closest.
So
to
you're
me.
familiar.
Yeah.
We've got one of those, and they deliver to our house. Like, and there's an app. Like, it's like 2 buttons. Just repeat my last order and send it.
I don't know what you're complaining about anymore.
I'm not. What I'm saying is, the first time someone ate a hot, fresh cookie,
God damn.
about 6 seconds after that, someone should have said, we should figure out how to get these on a delivery project because people pay for this.
I don't know why we didn't try and deliver more in the first place. That's my question.
Well, transportation wasn't great
In the before times, yes. I'm talking
in
now.
the before times.
Yeah, I'm talking now.
I like this new world.
I don't hate it one bit.
It doesn't, other than like some campsites and shit being closed, it hasn't been bad for me. But I also am used to working. Like nothing's really changed for me other than there's less traffic.
Yeah, the traffic is nice. The gas prices are nice.
Man, that's another one that's ingrained from working in the oil and gas industry as long as I did. Like gas being as low as it is, I'm just like, yikes. Whereas like the whole time I worked in that industry, I just wanted to see it about $3.70 a gallon. Because everybody's making money and everybody is fucking working on projects. They are spending cash.
I read something about it's going to affect soda and other things too, because the fact that the way they process gas is they use the CO2 or something from it to make soda, and so soda is going to become more scarce. So we're going to use less fossil fuels, and we're going to help people cut down their sugar intake.
Weird.
Yeah, don't do that. Sugar's the greatest.
The sugar's
It's
great.
also targeting the baby boomers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, in 9 months, we're going to have a spike of children in this country.
Also, a pretty good spike of divorce, I would assume.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they saw that in China.
Yeah, it's going to happen here, too. Matt Beat wants to know if we're going to do 28 weeks later also.
The only redeeming quality to that entire fucking film. And again, the reason it sucks, the kids caused the problem from not following the fucking rules. There's a re-outbreak.
It sounds like what we're
These
living
kids
in.
Don't follow the fucking rules. So I hope they die. I'm not rooting for those kids to successfully make it out of this whatsoever. They're the problem. However, the opening scene of 28 Weeks Later, where he's running from them out of the house, is one of the heaviest opening scenes of a movie.
Oh, I kind of remember.
It's so gnarly.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen it.
That scene alone, I think, is gnarlier than any scene from 28 Days Later.
I think I remember where the fast zombies kind of came from. I'm not sure why the internet is saying Night of the Living Dead, but I think it was the original one of the Crazies. which I don't know that I've ever seen. I've seen the remake quite a few times because.
But if we get into that, then we're back to the are they zombies thing. I think that's important, right? That I think just a very black and white line are they zombies? I mean, there's zombie style film, which is what this is. This is dealing with the horde.
Zombies are infected. That's
yes,
the question.
But there is a difference because one is undead.
Yep.
Right, and so when the dead walks the earth is a totally different concept than infected.
And are they hard to kill? The dead thing is it's not just they're coming after you to kill you, but are they coming after you? Are they hard to kill? Will they spread an infection through you so that you then become part of that horde?
Right.
That's the kind of stuff that really makes it happen.
Well, right. So the change is you either have like scientific outbreak or you have supernatural.
Yeah.
And that's the big change in those two genres. Supernatural adds a whole lot of other rules to the table that then you can all of a sudden play with. Like, well, if we're going to have zombies, we may as well have witches.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, if the dead can walk the earth, like, there's a lot of goddamn rules that are new for us to deal with here. And
now, do you find fast zombies scarier than...
Yeah, of course.
Of
course.
Yeah,
fast zombies are fucking awful.
Fast zombies are freaky because they don't have a reason to slow down.
It's so the only bit with that. So fast zombies to walkers. I think walkers are more the point of what zombies are supposed to be, and it was this kind of overarching look at mindless consumerism. That they're literally just trying to consume and move forward and eat the brains of people not like them to make them more like the horde. No zombie alone is terribly hard to kill. One-on-one in a field, like you're successful 100% of the time. Standard zombie. The problem comes with numbers. And the problem comes with this never-ending wave.
Yeah.
And that's what World War Z does very good in the book. Is it's talking about how many people you're talking about. Like, I mean, if the U.S. alone had a major viral outbreak that 90% of Manhattan got infected, that number is terrifying. On our map, it's not that big. But if you were to say, 90% of the people in Manhattan got infected and died of a thing, well, you have how many million bodies to get rid of?
Right.
It's fucking crazy.
That's when you just section off Manhattan, where you just like
Sink
write it off completely. Yeah.
Right. And so like it's that wave. It's that wave of that 10 million people. I mean, look at a march that has 100,000. Look at like what the marches in Hong Kong look like with that mass of people, right? So it's trying to fight that, but 10 times the size. It's that endless wave that you'll just never win. They're always going to be more.
Because they're relentless. They don't have a reason to
They'll never stop. Not until they're dead.
The one thing about slow zombies compared to fast zombies is fast zombies, it seems... and we're talking about the rage and stuff. It seems like you would notice them. They don't have any concept of hiding what they're doing. They just come at you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, they're not sneaky.
Slow zombies seem like they just come out of nowhere.
Well, it's because they're slow.
And because
they're just kind of already there.
They're just waiting. They have nothing that's taking up their attention unless, like, all of a sudden you pop up around the corner and they're like, oh, great, something to chew on.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, fast zombies make great for a film, right? Because you're getting a very, very tight shot of a reality. Like, we're really only dealing with like a dozen people's story, even in 28 Days Later.
Yeah.
So you don't need a giant horde when the zombies that you do have are just scary. And then you never get to see the mass. But if you have runners and mass, ugh.
Yeah.
And as long as they don't all run like Usain Bolt, like fucking World War Z.
Now, that's where I was going earlier, is when you guys were talking about what would you do first if you woke up in that hospital and how would you react to that world, and you were talking about taking drugs, and that's not an invalid way to look at it at all. I would probably take the drugs because I would have to trade them. I would do like a prison bartering system.
I don't plan on taking them immediately. I'm definitely taking them with me.
Yeah, but I would have to. That would be how I survive as long as I'm ever going to, which would not be long.
Right.
I'm a fat man. I get wind of going upstairs. I get wind of going downstairs. Fuck it. It just like I know I'm not long for that world, but I would collect everything I could. That's the only thing I can do is try to have my collected mind together.
You have
like,
to sweet go Master Blaster.
Yeah. How do I make the living work with me as opposed to just knocking me out the fucking way?
Provide value. Provide value.
Provide value. Yep. Which I believe is a character on The Walking Dead in the later seasons.
But so, in like another interesting concept of this film is the fact that it isn't global,
right?
Right.
You know, and so this pandemic is just.
But they don't know that until later,
right? But I mean, that idea of course that we would quarantine off a country.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Of course we would.
Mm-hmm.
Of course we would. Like. That's the thing is I don't know if India is going to have the power to say, oh, the United States has got a bunch of infected. Let's quarantine them off.
No. But what I'm saying is like, especially if what we're dealing with is the UK,
right?
It's a fucking island.
It's a fucking island,
right? You can definitely control that.
Look what we did to Australia.
Right.
Fuck yeah.
Yep.
So, we're getting towards.
I would
the end
definitely
of
get
this.
out of London. That would be my first step.
Yeah.
Sure.
Get to the country.
Which it appears they have since done at this point in the movie.
Seems they figured that out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just love the flyby this guy's doing. What up, JC?
Now, Matt
Which one?
Stein.
Okay.
You famously don't usually get to the end of the film. Or
Famously,
watch
I don't.
past when the
I was gonna
credits
say I don't watch past the credits. Don't fucking make me
I'm
sound
never
like an
past
idiot.
the credits guy.
See, thank you.
So this has one of the alternate endings that plays after some of the credits.
I've
Does
never known
Yes.
that.
What is the alternate ending?
Cillian Murphy does not make it.
Oh,
He gets shot, and they spend a long time in the hospital trying to bring him back, and it doesn't pay off. So it's just the two of them after that. I don't know if that was the original one or if it was just. I guess they had 3 different endings. They tried to play it in different theaters for a bit, kind of like
Yeah,
Clue.
just test it.
Yeah, but I prefer this. It's a happy ending. It may be a little Hollywood.
Yeah, but
Perfect.
I don't believe it's unrealistic.
Yeah, and if you watch the other ending, it's just a long time of them trying to revive him and it not happening.
Yeah.
And it just feels like it feels a little overkill.
Well, that ending is definitely the realistic version of like we're all gonna die.
Yeah,
right.
And
Right.
he gets shot by Eccleston in the car. It makes sense that he would have died, but it doesn't make sense that it would take that long.
He didn't. Well, so let's say best case scenario with a gunshot wound like that is it goes straight through him.
Right.
Now, we definitely hit something. Like I would think, I just don't know what you would have done to sort out internal bleeding. Like,
And
no,
the
I
training-
just don't see how you survive.
The training for the two of them to go get him to a hospital with infected still around, obviously,
Right.
and make this happen. It's all pretty glossy.
I would have a real struggle with that. This ending works for me. I don't have anything part of this that I'm just like, nope, that is totally anti-human nature.
Right.
So, anti-human nature is one of those that'll fucking take me out of a story.
Mm-hmm.
It's like why I can't fall for too much conspiracy shit. Like the moon landing, right? Like 26,000 people didn't keep a secret.
Right.
That's the easiest answer for that. Like that's not what people do. The head of the CIA couldn't keep it on the down low that he was trying to get a blowjob. Like, if anyone's possible of keeping a secret, we think this guy should be it, right? If one person can't keep that secret, 26,000 people involved with the space mission didn't. Like, yeah, we're gonna take it to the grave.
But we're also at a different point now, too, where the celebrity aspect of politics makes you want to expose that stuff more. Look how many fucking chances Wiener had And kept coming back and coming back, and then it was just finally like, okay, way too fucking far now, buddy.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I cleaned myself out. I realized this was my mistake.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I do think there was a point in time where to protect the country, people would actually, they believed in that. They believed in the country. They believed in our government. I don't know that we're in that same world now.
I don't think we are either. I don't believe that we're terribly trusting of our government, nor do I really think we should be. I don't think our government has earned that.
Right. Well, it certainly lost trust.
And look, a big problem that I have, and it's one of those things that I try to be smart enough about that. I don't know that our government's full of shit. I know that both sides that tell me the stories about the government are full of shit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that makes the one on the other side actually full of shit, or is it being translated so poorly to me with an agenda
Yeah.
that I've got to deal with it.
Yeah, I have a big problem with groups and gatherings.
Yeah.
Like Erin and I had talked about, she had said something about she's proud of her heritage. She's got a lot of Irish family history and stuff. But I'm just like, that's great, but you don't know anything about being Irish. You know, you grew up in America. Your dad was in the military, moved around all over the States. What does it mean to be Irish? Why is it something to have pride about?
Right.
Like, what does it do for you? What did it bring you? Obviously, characteristics and stuff.
Well, it's the same way I
Are
would feel
ingrained in
about
your
someone
DNA.
who feels they're Catholic but doesn't do any of the things.
Right.
Like-
Exactly.
It's posturing.
Yeah, and so anytime you get a couple people together, they share ideas, and that's all well and good. Then you get a third person who shares some of the ideas, but then has like a couple fucked up ideas, and you're like, I don't know about Joey over here. Joey might be a little whack, but he meets up with us on these other things, so we can all get in a bar fight on the same side on most conversations.
Yep.
So yeah, I'll get Joey's back, and then it just gets broader and broader, and then more and more fucked up gets introduced, and you're like, yeah, but these are my people now, so I need to stick it out with my people, even though they got some fucked up shit going on in the midst of it. If I don't, then I can't go over to those other people because I've got way too little in common with them. So you make exceptions to have a broader gathering of your group.
Yeah, of course. Right, you just keep letting the lines on what's the important things stretch and stretch and stretch, and yeah, it's very, very. It's very odd, too, that with what the media has done, and as much as we in our culture do love the celebrity and love the drama and love the reality show aspect of it, that we do treat the election like a sporting event.
Yeah.
And because that's true, and people feel like it's basically getting to place a bet, there's a lot of people that will bet for who they think will win, not who has what policies.
Well, it's hardly even a sporting event as much as it is like The Bachelor.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely. Same idea, right? That like, we're going to place bets on like, I want my team to win. And like, why would you throw a vote at that guy? Like say, last election, like I voted Libertarian.
Right.
Just because fuck both of these things. And, somebody being like, well, you threw your vote away.
No.
Because I didn't vote. I'm like, no, that's not true.
You throw your vote away by voting for something you don't believe in.
I also don't think there's a problem with deciding not to vote. Like, I don't have any problem with someone who said, none of these options are okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to avoid it.
I take voting as a very serious responsibility. And
Yeah.
I did it for a long time without being knowledgeable. And so now my responsibility is brought into, I should probably know what the fuck I'm voting for instead of just hitting D or R on the lines going across.
Of course.
But yeah, I do think I do think that it's possible to say, no, my values are not being represented at all.
Right.
Just to blankly say, oh, I don't vote, that kind of doesn't sit right with me. But saying I didn't vote in this because nothing here worked for me.
Because nothing works, right?
Yeah.
Because I think that if enough of us said, we didn't vote because all of the choices are dog shit.
Right.
Like at some point, someone realizes that there's a majority of a public who's choosing not to vote because their choices are dog shit, would give us a choice to get behind.
Yeah, but unfortunately, it's the same power structures behind it and that fund all this stuff and say, yeah, but we really like our dog shit choices.
Oh,
And we're
you
going to
mean
say
the
that you
people that
have
we
to.
need to make new laws to not make this the way it is are the same people currently benefiting from all laws?
Yep.
Sick. And with that said, like, I don't know what I'd do in that situation. But that's everything they've worked their life to get to, is that level of weird control and power and like in the driver's seat and play the politics game of it, right? Like that. Just so odd. That's how we.
That's the breakdown in
things.
society that we're going to see coming from this. And I see the memes all over the place of like, we realize that the billionaires aren't the essentials. It's the front line people and everything. I'm like, that's great. I totally agree with that. Are you going to remember that in 6, 9, 12 months or whenever we come out of this? And is something going to actually be done about it? Or is all the money going to just put us into a deeper poverty, except for when you're at that one level where it's like, I don't give a shit.
Dude, for sure, right? Like anyone who says that, it's such a short-sighted look at things. Meanwhile, the billionaire you're speaking of, let's just say Jeff Bezos, is keeping shit running to the point that all of our stuff is delivered. Right. He's fucking hiring people. He is spending money. Like, I mean, in the words of Caddyshack, we need ditch diggers too.
Right.
And I way rather the way things are split, that hard workers can benefit or this progress or can do this or do that. And we need all sides of that machine. You know, like one of those terrible bits on fucking Rick and Morty is the idea of like the Citadel. Mm-hmm. And the place is only Rick's. I'm like, well, you still need a janitor.
Yep.
And you still need, you know, a boss or a president or the council. Well, they're all the same person and have the exact same IQ. And so, like, what would differentiate? So literally you just have a genius who's doing the worst job ever for a genius.
Yeah, because they also have the same ego.
Yes. Like, that's more dangerous.
Yep.
Like, everyone should find the thing that they're good at and enjoy. And if you want to, like, both jobs matter, man.
Right.
The billionaires are an easy target.
So,
but
Beatmaster
he started a fucking business in his garage, too. At some point, that was a small business to choose to support.
Right. So
I'm not mad at him because he's successful.
Beat says that the ditch diggers are people who are actually working in the warehouse. And
yeah,
it's very true. And like, I've been fortunate enough that I don't really see a ton of change. Like, I could work from home before. I'm just now working from home full time, and the same with my wife.
Yep.
So sometimes I talk to people who can't. Like, a very, very good friend of mine down in Kansas is a bartender at a sports bar in Kansas City.
Yeah, service industry is rough.
100% out of work, and he just had a child.
Yeah, dude.
So it's fucking really rough for him.
My mom's a teacher, but at least, you know, unions or whatever, they're a little bit more taken care of. But my brother works in the oil and gas industry, and like, he's taken a massive pay cut. And
yep. Is your mom still working, or is she doing everything online?
Everything online.
Yeah. So, like, there's a benefit to this. Like, she's still working, and I hope she's still getting paid the amount she was getting paid before.
There's a lot of people that can't.
Exactly.
Well, the thing about the Amazon warehouse workers, for instance, like, one of the things we're seeing is that they're not getting the safety things as part of what they need to survive in what's going on with this right now.
Yeah, no, all of that.
But it's pointing out work
right?
conditions that were already there. It's pointing out the problems that are inherent to these big companies because they don't have to take care of their workers. And now there's a point of, hey, you not only have to take care of your workers, all eyes are on you because you've got the only jobs that are existing right now. And so it does kind of point that as much as those billionaires might be a part of the solution, they're a huge fucking part of the problem.
Oh, yeah.
And then you get someone like Andrew Yang, who was up for president, who's saying, you know, a lot of these jobs don't matter or won't matter soon, and the people still will. So what are we going to do to allow people to survive when there's not the work anymore? And that's been something that Bezos has worked towards. That's something that Uber and Lyft are working towards, is getting rid of people.
I know, and that sucks. But if I look at it not emotionally, why wouldn't you? With as much of a litigious society as we've created, with as much hassle as we've created, and as much now that it's become, things have to be such eggshells in the workplace because someone can sue and file and everyone plays into it. Why wouldn't you eliminate that risk from your business? Like you did this.
Yeah.
To some extent, right? Like you created the problem that you made me, who's operating a business, who wants to maximize profits. Like, that's your fucking job. His job isn't to employ 9 million people and fulfill their dream. He started a company that provided a giant service everyone uses. That our world is far shittier if Jeff Bezos and Amazon disappear than one of the people working in the warehouse. And that super fucking sucks, but it doesn't make it not true.
No, but that's the thing, is that what happens to society when there aren't jobs like that anymore? Because we were talking earlier, not everybody can be creative.
Or skilled.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that sucks. I don't have that answer, since I'm a guy who likes horror films and has a general studies degree from LSU. You know, I don't have the answer to that economic question. Like, I don't know about
Like
robots. I just think all the robots we create, we should definitely make them. You have to plug them in.
Well,
Right.
what would it look
'Cause
like
then they
right
can't
now?
run too far.
What would it look like right now if they had gotten the jump on the delivery by drones? Like we're at a point where people are freaking out about the United States Postal Service just falling apart because of what's going on with this disease. What if there already was drone delivery?
You mean of the carriers who deliver shit to us? You mean the government funded agency that's slower than molasses that isn't
Most of my
isn't
stuff from
efficient?
Amazon comes 2 days or less and comes through USPS.
Of course, and they will until Amazon decides to take over that job, which they're already doing.
Right. No, absolutely. But I mean, but what would we be in this situation if all these robots and things were there? So
Do
that
they do the job
nobody would
better?
be working, or the same, or even less, but just so that people could be home and not have to be doing work for us to still have food delivery, goods delivery to survive this. Like, what would happen if you had a drone dropping off your medicine and stuff?
Of course, right? And I don't know the answer to that because, I mean, look, people need jobs.
Mm-hmm.
But
However, the fuck, I mean, I think it's important to have a skill that's valuable, and that's really all a job is.
but that's what I mean too. Is that then a job, or is that just a calling? If
Well,
we had the opportunity to do things,
it doesn't have to be one or the other or mutually exclusive. Like, I mean, there's nothing wrong with having a job, and I
no,
think
absolutely not.
you should be paid for anything you do that provides a value to someone else.
Yeah.
That's it. But if you don't have any discernible skills that provide a value, I don't know what the answer for that is.
Mm-hmm.
Are we just supposed to, because you were born, like you're entitled to fucking living a comfortable life versus someone else who's not? I don't have that answer.
Isn't that called communism?
It that's the question. Is that it gets to be a point of, it's not just a matter of like, is this good or bad? It's a matter of, is this inevitable?
I don't know. You know, I know with me and social programs and how I feel is I do think it is on the government at some level to be able to take care of the needy.
Right.
I'm not interested in funding lazy.
Right. But right now we're at a point where this $1,200 check that came out to help people get through this, which in some places feels like, oh, that's pretty good. And in a lot of other places feels like that's not anywhere near what we need to survive.
Ain't nobody forced you to live in fucking Venice Beach, California.
There's that.
But
St. Louis is crazy affordable.
But we are at a point of like, to keep the world going, we're having to give people the means to survive because they can't work.
Oh yeah,
And,
yeah. It's a very, very tough situation. Yeah. You know, it's a very tough thing, and I mean, it ain't like people get created out of mystery. Like if there's not enough jobs and not enough money and not enough things to go around,
we're already fighting with not enough space in some ways.
Right.
That's a choice.
That
Not
is a
enough
choice.
space is a fucking choice.
Yeah,
Just
fucking look at
fly
Montana.
west.
Right.
Right. Let's not pretend that we need to stack people in fucking giant buildings. People choose to live that way.
I've driven through Idaho enough times going across the country.
Right. We have
no.
plenty of earth
Yep, that's a good point.
in our country. So, like anyone who's living in cramped conditions, it's a choice. No one has to live in Manhattan.
So you guys want to rate 28 Days Later, or do you want to keep complaining about society?
Yes. 28 days later.
So we're on a marry, fuck, kill at this point. Would you marry? Would you fuck? Or would you kill this movie?
Marry.
Yeah, I knew your answer before. I even
Yeah.
asked that
28 days
question.
later is on the 5 movies that come to the island with me.
Yeah. Corey, how about you?
I hadn't, like I said, I hadn't watched this since about the time it came out. I was glad that I enjoyed it as much as I did for it being now a 20-year-old movie, and not having anything ever to have said bad about it, but just going back into it and going, oh yeah, this is actually really fucking good. Yeah, I'd say marry.
Yeah, I'm on board with that. I would also marry this movie. Before we get out of here, Matt, what do you want to push in terms of so hate habit?
Yeah, if you want, you guys can check out the So podcast. It's everywhere that you would listen to those things. Hate Brand Goods is my apparel company. Check that out. Head over to thehate.com. Use code So. You can save 10%. And we just relaunched our coffee. So Habit Coffee Company is our coffee company. So if you want to get some cool beans, man, you could head over to Your New Habit and use the same code So to save money on beans. Plus, you can set up a coffee subscription. And it just comes straight to you. You don't even have to go anywhere. We're helping you stay shut in and stay safe.
It's really fucking good. I got a bag of the original roast. That
Thanks, man.
Guatemalan.
Yep, we do a Guatemalan, and then we do snake oil as our Ethiopian.
Yeah, snake oil. They're both really good. Someone who drinks a
I'm really,
shitload
really
of
happy
coffee.
with the coffee that we chose and the roast we picked, and getting to do all that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, they're both very good. But Corey, how about you?
It's been a while, but I sometimes do a podcast for just one person. That's Levi Krause, and I might get on that hopefully soon. Otherwise, I'm here.
Wow. Just fucking wow. Yeah, you can hear Matt and I do Cast and the Furious once a month-ish.
Yep.
Which we should probably talk about another one here in a couple weeks.
Probably, yeah.
Outside of that, I'm do Monster Madness, which is basically this show, but a little more professional.
Quite a bit more. And also, isn't tomorrow Daniel's birthday?
It is. 420.
Yay.
Tomorrow's 420, too.
What? Come on. Him and Hitler?
Yeah. Mickey Avalon, the hyper sex drive.
I'm familiar.
Yeah, he's doing an Instagram live concert tomorrow night.
My dick.
I did.
Dude,
I knew that.
Dude,
Great song.
okay,
Him
so
and Dirt Nasty, Simon
Yep.
Rex. Well
Yep.
done.
So his album
song.
Teardrops on My Tombstone is hands down one of my favorite rap albums ever. So wrap your mind around that. So he did a drawing on Instagram where if you bought 5 raffle tickets, you got a personalized autograph Teardrops on My Tombstones and a chance for a hand-drawn painting.
Oh, man.
I fucking won the painting.
Come on.
Rock on.
It hasn't been mailed to me yet, but yeah, I have a Mickey Avalon hand-drawn
Original.
Corona skull painting coming in the mail.
Killer.
I'm so excited.
It's fucking rad.
But yeah, maybe we'll get him on Cast and the Furious. Maybe I'll get really drunk tonight and ask him to come on.
Nice.
I don't feel like he has a whole lot going on. Although he has strippers for his concert tomorrow night. So if you're bored,
Good work.
you'll be
need
asleep. You'll be asleep. It's 9 p.m. our time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you'll be
Oh, yeah.
you'll be
No
done, so.
chance.
But yeah, that's a shameless plug for Mickey Avalon, who doesn't need that from us.
Hit us up, Mickey.
Yeah, I'll message him later. He seems like a really nice guy.
I'm sure. I wonder if I could actually get in touch with him.
Oh, fucking, I'm bet super easily. Worst case, I'll just message him and be like, I'm friends with this guy. I've done that twice.
Well, I'm trying to figure out who I know that could know. That may be
You're
a
doing
tough.
the 6 Degrees of Matt Vincent.
Yeah.
I would love this game. I never win at it, but I love
This is at most 1 degree. You got to know someone.
My first call, if I was trying to go that route, would probably be Jason Ellis.
All right.
Radio show, Hollywood, his girl used to, I guess, be kind of part of that whole rock scene in Hollywood quite a bit. And I would be shocked if she didn't know him.
I wish Instagram was a little easier to creep on who's following who.
But
But-
they don't make that a real sortable.
No, and I think that's by design, which is
Yeah,
fine.
of course.
Outside
It's a
of
thing
this,
you probably shouldn't waste a lot of time doing.
no, and I've already given up because I saw one picture of your buddy in a thong.
Happens.
So I'm just gonna put that down.
Some dude butt. Boys, thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you.
For showing up.
Corey had no idea you were
Enjoy
coming.
The 420 drop at Hate Brain Goods.
Yeah, and what is it? UMSO 10%.
Yep, so saves you money.
Do that. So that's gonna do it for another episode of the Podcast Chair, and we will talk to you guys next time.
Stay scary, everybody.
Always party.